Greetings, brothers. How you all doing? Welcome to another weekly live stream. I guess we had a couple of extra live streams this week looking at what's in front of you, the Codex Supplement, Blood Angels. If you guys can hear me okay, please shout out in the chat and say that the volume's good and everything, because as you know, this microphone likes to play up. So, yeah, Rob, Smithy, Adam, we've got Mephistopheles, Lord of Chief Death, Librarian. Who else we got? Like Gemini, Carl, Red Blade, 30% off of a Gladiator tank. I mean, maybe it's worth a shot. Highland Phoenix, how you doing? Will's here, Balanced Hydra. Yeah, a lot of people hanging out today. So, thank you for that. I'm glad you can hear me fine. Alright, so, I guess, plan for today's stream is definitely to go over, hold on, I'm gonna have to close I'm gonna have to close, or I'm gonna get stupid pings throughout the stream, which I don't want. So, the plan for today's stream is to go over, army lists. However, there was some random questions. I was wondering if people had questions related to the book, that they would like to go over. Let me close this as well. Obviously, I was expecting questions on the book. The questions we got is, who are better, Vanguard veterans with Unleashed Rage or Sanguinary Guard? I think it's going to be the Sanguinary Guard, purely because I'm going to get annoying pings if I'm on Facebook or whatever. I read somewhere that someone said for Unleash Rage to be better, you needed to have a minimum of 4 attacks. I guess the way that the 6s will proc. So I guess Unleashed Rage is going to be better on models with more attacks. So Death Company or Sanguinary Guard. What role would you want to most have if you were a member of the Blood Angels? That's going to be really annoying. Maybe I'll just keep the questions on the other screen. If I was a member of the Blood Angels, I don't know. I feel like, I guess if you had to ask me what my favourite character was, I think that's maybe where the channel name came from, was Dante, but I've been hoping, like all you guys, that we'd get Primaris. So I guess we'll just have to wait on that. If you had to pick another chapter, what would it be? I have a kill team that isn't Blood Angels, and it's Thousand Suns. So maybe I would play Thousand Suns if I ever played my Blood Angels. It's the only models I've got that are not Blood Angels. I gave away everything else because I used to collect 4 armies. Someone was asking, I'm still not sure about the fight is resolved part of the rules. Everyone seems to have a different opinion on it. Is it for that turn or until they're no longer in combat? Well, let's just clear that one up right away. I was looking at this just to be 100% sure. Let me see. So, in the fight phase, this is the rules book, obviously, and when you select a unit to fight, it first piles in, then the model's unit make close combat attack, and then the unit consolidates. That is your fight. So, until the fight is resolved basically means just that one phase, and then that's that. And then the last question, do you see any Primaris Army being a viable option? And what do you think of Death Company Intercessors with them, including Assault Intercessors with them? Right, well, let's talk about Death Company Intercessors for a minute, and let's talk about the leaks for the new Death Company characters, right? So one of my favourite characters that came out of the Indomitus box set was that new Lieutenant with the Storm Shield, the Volkite Pistol, and the Mastercrafted Power Sword. I wonder, he'll be in this book, right? Let's see. I think I'm going to do a video on the characters that can become Death Company, right? So the Primaris Lieutenant that is 2+ weapon skill BS, 4 wounds, 4 toughness, 5 wounds, and 4 attacks. And he's obviously got the Mastercrafted Power Sword, he's the Volkite thing, and then he has the Storm Shield, so he's got a 2+4+ save. And this is a 90-point model. So if you put him in the Death Company as well, he would get the 6+ Feel No Pain, he'd get an additional attack from being in Black Rage. So when he charges, it's 6 attacks, and the Power Sword that he has is... Sorry. Mastercrafted Power Axe. Is that a typo? I didn't even... Oh, maybe another chapter again. So they haven't put the Mastercrafted Power Sword on there. I'm pretty sure it's +1 strength, -3 AP, 2 damage. And now, by being part of the Death Company... So for 10 extra points, so for 100 points, he would get that ability where, like, the lieutenant inducted in the Death Company would be able to replace his tactical precision with tactical precision for Death Company, or tactical aggression it's called. So reroll wounds of 1. So, what do you guys think of 5 Death Company intercessors in an impulsor with a Primaris lieutenant that has become Death Company? So that would be 195 points... Oh no, it wouldn't be. Sorry, Assault Intercessors, 95 points. I don't actually know how much a Death Company... we'll check. How much is a Death Company Marine in points for Intercessors? 24. So 5 of them... 5 of them will be 120 points. So 220 points plus the cost of Impulsor, which is like 115. But I do think Death Company Intercessors, like, they get a ridiculous amount of attacks, right? It's like a base profile of 3 for them, and they're wielding chainswords, so that's 4, and they're in Black Rage, so it's 5, and they're charging, so it's 6, and then in Savage Echoes it's 7, so I mean, like, 5 of them charging are going to get 30 chainsword attacks, with that Lieutenant doing his 6 Mastercrafted Power Sword, and it's still fairly competitive, 220 points. And obviously the Lieutenant would gain Black Rage, so he gets a 6+ as well, 6++ Feel No Pain. So I think, would I build a whole Primaris force? Probably not right now, but I want to say like my army lists are 50-50. Okay, let's catch up on chat. Aftermath Hammer, I'm pretty confident in my Gladiator purchase. Alright, so some people enjoyed the Gladiator. 30% off the points to play would be better for the Gladiator. Yeah, I mean, of course it would be. Remember to check my version 2 list. Highland, can you... If you've changed your list from the one that I have submitted here on the 18th, then I guess I need you to send me it again. If you can put it in that post that I had up on the Facebook group, I'll grab it, and when we get to your list, I'll change it out. Please give Primaris Captain Lieutenant jetpacks. Yeah, I mean, that you're right, Will. That's the big issue I have with the Primaris, is there's no... The only Primaris that get to deep strike are the Reavers, and they're terrible in close combat, so why would you ever want to deep strike them? I mean, I guess Inceptors get deep strike, but I'm meaning more like an actual close combat squad. Death Company Primarises are better for transhuman alone. I mean, they are, but I don't know if you have been following up with the Forlorn Fury. Smithy, I did get your new version of your list, so I did get that one. I didn't get a new version from Highland Phoenix. I guess with all the leaks coming, you DM'd me though, so that's how I found it. Yeah, the lack of jetpacks is a big option, or a big problem, sorry. And the interesting thing, like, just before we get into other people's lists then, I have been thinking a little bit about like a new 9th edition list for me. And one of the things that I think, I think we'll look at Death Company characters very, very shortly, right? And that'll be one of the next things we look at on the channel, maybe, just because they're brand new and like lots of people are talking about them. But if we look here, so I've taken a Death Company captain on a bike. He's going to be part of the Lost for the 20 extra points. He's going to have a Thunder Hammer and Storm Shield. He's going to have a Mastercrafted weapon, so his Thunder Hammer does 4 damage a swing. And he's going to give a Gift of Foresight, so he can reroll 1 save, 1 wound, and 1 hit every turn. And then I'm going to take a 10-man jump pack Death Company with him, including 2 Thunder Hammers. And basically, if I get first turn, I'm going to pay 3 CP, so 1 CP for the captain, 2 CP for the Death Company, to move them 12 inches forward, because they all have, like, the bike can move obviously more than 12, and these guys can move more than 12. So I'll move them up to 12 inches forward, and if I'm still not happy, I'll pay the 3 CP again to move them another 12 forward. So basically, before the first turn starts, these guys will be 24 inches forward. Then they can do their normal 12-inch, 14-inch move. So these guys will be 36 inches forward in turn 1. And then I'll just charge anything that I need to get rid of from the enemy's army. This captain will have... so he's a regular captain who gets 4 attacks. He would get 5 for charging. And then he would get 6 from being in the Black Rage. So he'll get 6 4-damage Thunderhammer hits. These guys will get, I think, base of 2 Black Rage and charging. So they'll get 4. So it'll be 8 Thunderhammer hits, and then, 8 times 5. So I guess I'll get 40 Chainswords. And these guys will all reroll their 1s to hits, because the captain will be there as well, obviously. So for paying, it's quite a lot to pay 6 CP, but, I mean, if you... At the start of your battle round, if you just said your Death Company can... On turn 1, they can be 36 inches forward. If you get first turn, you can basically take out any key value target in the other person's army before they can do anything. That would be enough to take out, I don't know, probably, if they're Mortarion or something, just about anything. I mean, 14 Thunderhammer hits with half of them doing 4 damage, and then 40 Chainswords followed up. And bear in mind, now with the new rules, then in their turn, you get to attack first. So if you've moved these guys strategically forward, you could basically wrap a unit, if there was a big character or something, you could wrap them with those 10 Death Company, so they couldn't even fall back. So you get to fight first 100% in their turn. And, I think Forlorn Fury is actually broken as it stands. But I don't think my friends have looked too deeply into the Blood Angels book. So hopefully it will be a very big surprise for them when this Death Company move 36 inches in turn 1, and then we roll to charge. I mean, I'm gonna be literally right next to them. There's no way they're failing the charge, right? It's pre-game, so you move it as many times as you want. I was thinking about running 2 Death Company, but it's so expensive, because on this list I've obviously got the Chaplain on the bike that has the Angel's Exemplar, so he can basically have double relic. I have a Leviathan because I just think it's a good distraction Carnifex. In the Math Hammer video I did last week, Leviathan performed pretty well, right? And then, I guess I have to pay Hero of the Chapter for Gift of Foresight for this Death Company captain. But I just think, that Death Company captain was going to be hard to kill anyway, being on a bike. So he's toughness 5, and he's got 6 wounds. So, with his 6 plus feel no pain, and I guess you can pay 1 CP for refusal to die on him. Where's that? It's just 1 CP if it was on a character, I assume. Yeah. You can use the stratagem once per turn. If the unit contains fewer than 5 models, it's 1. So you could pay it on your character, or you could pay it on your Death Company. Does this last a phase, or does it last until the end of the phase? Do you know what? It's kind of shitty that it's just the end of the phase when it's just said you can only play it once per turn for 2 CP. So whereas other ones you can usually pay in each phase, this one you can only play once per turn. So a little bit annoying. Okay, questions from chat then. Let's catch up. Hello Chris, thanks for tuning in. Is mine list next week? Next week's lists are Slamguinius, Joe Collins, Kari, Rob and Will. And I guess because the book comes out this week, and I'm sure if you watch any of my streams, you'll see a ton of lists, I put a post up on the community page basically saying, where was it? It was this post here saying, I haven't put up a message for a little while asking for army submissions. I think it's probably best if you're going to submit a new list, then please take a look at the leaks. Because basically these lists that we look at next Sunday will be the day after, the day after the new codex. So I'll kind of be using the new rules for looking at your list. So if you guys are already next week. So if you want to submit a list this week, like I want to put you back in the queue, I can just update this list and we can take it from there. So essentially no one loses out, I guess. So Slamguinius, you are on next week for sure, yeah. So I guess if you can think of a new list and lose the leaks, then we can look at it straight away with all the new rules. What is your favourite mini? Mine is Mephiston, Lord of Death. Do you know what? I really like Smash Captains. I made a few Smash Captains, but now I've made the Smash Chaplain. At the moment, I guess my best painted mini is probably a Smash Captain, so I'd say I guess it's my best. Adam, didn't know I could do this with the Death Company strat, thought can only use the strat once. Wow, this is something to consider with a Death Company selection. Yeah, normally you can use only stratagems once, but it specifically says that if the stratagem is used before the game and it's not in a phase, then you can use it as many times as you want. And it says use the stratagem at the start of the first battle round before the first turn begins, so that is technically it's not in a phase, so you can use it multiple times. Incoming FAQ, yeah, baby. This has been a nerf, right? I think it used to cost 2 CP, and you could use a move and advance. But the thing that people always complained about this was like your characters could never keep up with the Death Company, right? So you were basically jumping the Death Company away, usually to their death, because they need a character to buff them. Well, this version does let you do it, but it is quite expensive. I guess we'll see how broken it is. I'll probably try and run it soonish and do a 36-inch turn 1 charge and see what happens. Give the captain the extra warlord trait to get the master crafted and take armor and Domitus instead for the relic. Yeah, you could definitely do that, Rob. Can't give the captain on the bike the extra warlord trait as he's lost, which means he can't be the warlord. He can be hero of the chapter though, right? That's what my list was trying to get at. Is the guy that is part of the Death Company wasn't the warlord, he was the hero of the chapter. Even in my Math Hammer, Leviathan Dreadnought wins the top spot of wounds done per point paid per model. Yes, people were asking, is Leviathan still worth it? In my Math Hammer this week, it seems like the Leviathan... you have to pay 1 command point to take him, but he is still very strong. Okay, 2 many negatives for the Lost. It's nice and fluffy, though. The only negative is, as far as I'm aware, that you lose his aura, right? Well, I guess you can't perform actions, but really, like, on your captain that's, like, there to do a ton of damage, do you really ever perform actions? Like, I usually always have troops performing actions. Like, I very rarely perform actions with a character, unless, like, all the troops are dead, I guess. +1 to getting a new list in after the codex changes. Yeah, by all means, go for it. Morning, John. Question. I hear a lot about the Smash Chaplain on the bike. Why is he so powerful? That's fine, Cinerist. I don't know why nobody watched my video last week on the Smash Chaplain on a bike. If you go to Tactics, there's a video right here on my playlists. It's the second newest video, but if you look at the views, like, people didn't watch it. Like, people watched the Smash Captain video, people didn't watch the Primaris Biker Captain video, and this guy's better. Like, go watch that video if you've got 20 minutes. I break down everything, and I tell you a ton of different options. I'm running one now. They're just super survivable, and with that Wise Orator trait, they can do tons of damage. And obviously they give buffs to everybody around them, and I guess now they can actually take an extra warlord trait as well, so they're even stronger. This is better for the Death Company. I used to use Upon Wings of Fire and Forlorn Fury, and now you can do a 10-man unit and a character for 3 CP. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, you used to be able to, if you want to keep the character up before, you could use Upon Wings of Fire. Toughness 5 and 1 wound over the normal captain and a 14-inch move. What about Storm Cannons instead of Grav Fluxes? Yeah, Storm Cannons is a very good question. I actually own, I don't own 2 Storm Cannons and I don't own 2 Grav Fluxes. I own one of both. So, I don't know is the answer, Dakota, but I will maybe in one of the future videos of the channel, for sure, I will go ahead and do the math and work it out. Yes, Sinrist, it's no problem. Apparently no one's on... I guess the YouTube algorithm decides if videos are popular. And, like, sometimes you can make a video and you think, yeah, loads of people are going to like this video, and, like, no one watches it. And I guess that's what happened last week. There's no rhyme or reason to it, or at least I don't understand it. The Smash Chaplain is awesome, and you can make an Outrider Chaplain kit. Yes, if you have a spare Outrider, then you need to get into the Facebook group. Links in the description below, because people already have made very cool Chaplain models from Outriders. I guess no fallback, no Warlord, no actions, loss of auras, and 20 points to pay for it. Yeah, I guess when you say it like that, Krychek, that does suck. But I mean, the other thing to consider is for those 20 points, the character gets like a 13% increase in hit points, and I guess they get those additional attacks from the Black Rage. I mean, I guess if you're running a death company, it's good. If you're not running a large death company, then yeah, you're probably right. It's not that big a deal. But I don't think the no Warlord's an issue, because you just make him a hero of the chapter instead anyway. Like, it wouldn't really make sense from a fluff point of view that your Warlord was under the Black Rage, right? That I feel like that would be a very bad tactical choice. I believe in one of the old editions, I think it was 2nd edition, right? Because I played 2nd edition, 4th and 5th, and then took a break back to 8th. But I believe it was either 2nd edition or 4th edition. You couldn't control the Death Company. Like, if an enemy unit got in range, you just had to charge it. Like, that was the rule. It was just like they just moved. It was like the Death Company always move it towards the closest enemy model, and they will just charge it as soon as they can. So I mean, it's not as bad as that, but yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what would happen if your Warlord was part of the Death Company. With the Wings of Fire, Sanguiner can keep doing this abilities and comes from reserve each time. I don't think so, Rob. Someone asked that. The Sanguiner obviously has the miraculous, what's it called? The miraculous savior. So at the end of the heroic intervention step, this model has not yet been set up on the battlefield. If any enemy units are within range, you can set this model up, right? At the end of the heroic intervention step of your opponent's charge phase. It says if this model has not yet been set up on the battlefield. Well, I mean, see, the way I read the stratagem was, what was it called? Angel Sacrifice or something. No, it wasn't that. It was the one upon Wings of Fire, right? Use the stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select one angels from your army that was set up during the reinforcement step. No, it's not. It's Descent of the Angels. Sorry. No, it's this one, right? Select one Blood Angel's jump pack movement, remove it from the battlefield. In the reinforcement step of your next movement phase, set that unit up anywhere in the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away. I don't think this necessarily counts as him being back in reserve at this point, right? Like, he's under the effect that, like, you must set him up next turn. Like, I don't think you can pay upon Wings of Fire and remove the Sanguiner and then heroically intervene again. When I read it, I felt like that was the way it was. If this model has not yet been set up on the battlefield, if any enemy units... I mean, technically he has already been set up, like, earlier in the game, right? Hard one to say, I guess, Rob. Hey Dark Artisan, how you doing, man? Thanks for tuning in. Sorry, I spent ages trying to explain that, Rob. Hope that makes sense. Like, I really don't think you could miraculously intervene multiple times. It was 3rd edition. Alright, it was probably still a thing in 4th edition. What do you think of a double Storm Cannon Leviathan with a Tech Marine to give him the 2+, plus some heals? Yeah, I mean, you can pay 20 points, Will, to give the Tech Marine that Master of the Forge, so he guarantees a 3-wound heal every time. And yeah, I mean, I guess if you have that Tech Marine, it puts the Leviathan back to where he was. where he was previously. I feel like what is the stats on double storm cannon at the moment? They are where is it? Forge Road. So it lost 2 shots and it lost 1 AP. I mean, it was pretty strong before, like deleting infantry. I guess the 1 AP might be a little bit weaker, but I do like the twin Volkite Cavaliers over the heavy flamers. Far too often with the Leviathan you ended up not shooting, so I guess if you take the twin Volkites, that's another 8 shots. The storm cannons lost 4 shots. They're not quite as high tough strength, but they do deal out mortal wounds. So, yeah, I mean, do you know what? I'll do a Math Hammer video in the Leviathan Dreadnought pretty soon. I think it's... The only negative about the Leviathan, right, is it doesn't have core. So I guess putting the Tech Marine next to it to give it that +2... 2 plus ballistic skill, not +2. Probably makes up for it not being core. So, yeah, I mean... I do think, like, the video where I compared the Gladiator this week, the Leviathan Dreadnought was, like, still really... That was with the Gravflux cannons, but, yeah, I think it depends on what you're looking for. Like, double storm cannon to destroy infantry with the Volkite Cavalier, I think that's probably still going to work. I think it's probably still going to work pretty decently. It's going to work better on some other chapters like Iron Hands, but, I mean, it'll work for us. I mean, if you just want some fire support that's going to clear infantry and is fairly survivable, well, the Leviathan is one of the most survivable units at the moment, just because it's automatic shielding and it's duty eternal, and it's 14 wounds and it's 2+ save. It's still up there in terms of overall survivability. Yeah, so Dark Artisan, if you guys don't know, Dark Artisan also has a channel, and he does a ton of Blood Angels content over there. He actually already did a video like yesterday on the new book. He got it like a week early, lucky guy. So if you want to check out his video, obviously after you finish watching this one, he will he goes through the whole book with Chris Chance, and I think I actually got Chris Chance's list on to look at today. So okay, I better get into the list, or we'll be, half an hour's gone and I ain't started. So let's start with Smith, because Smithy sent me his list in Battlescribe as well, so that's kind of cool. So I guess probably what we'll do is it'll save me making it in Battlescribe, but we'll run through it and then we'll see. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a weird one, because we obviously know all the new rules, or we know like loads of the new rules. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about. We'll probably talk a bit about the new rules, like especially with like psychic powers. Like we know that we have to use the new psychic powers, so I guess if there's any psychers or anything in these lists, then we'll talk about those as well. Alright, so this is a battalion, obviously, and we've got one extra relic in here. So we start with a captain who has a chainsword, a jump pack, a relic blade, hero of the chapter, the teeth of Terra, and the Imperium sword. Alright, so the relic blade and the teeth of Terra, I guess like trying to be versatile in terms of what damage you can output. But he'll also get those the 3 additional attacks from the Teeth of Terra, even if he is using the Relic Blade. So I guess on the charge he starts with 8 attacks, 5 from the Relic Blade, and 3 from the Teeth of Terra. Then we have Dante, who's been made the Warlord with the Speed of the Primarch. I'm not sure that I rate Speed of the Primarch. Like, seems like a bit of a wasted Warlord trait, right? Like, basically it just lets you interrupt the opponents when they fight. I feel like it's a waste, man. Honestly, I actually emailed Games Workshop saying that like it's a waste of a. Like, I actually think the one he had last edition where you could auto-pass morale was stronger than Speed of the Primarch, because it just meant you could run, like, massive squads next to him and never have to worry about morale. So, and also, personally, I think, if you watch the last... If you've been following the channel, which I know you have, Smithy, I think that chaplains on bikes are probably stronger than Dante right now. I certainly felt like they were. I think even the old, like a regular captain on a bike can be stronger than Dante right now. Welcome, Garen. Thanks for tuning in. The free attacks on the Teeth of Terror is so nice, yet his Warlord trait is Heroic Bearing. It's not anymore. Dark, maybe you missed that, unless the leaks I've got from the book are wrong. But the Warlord trait it says down here for Dante was... Oh, shit, okay. You are right, Dark. Thank you for correcting me. So I guess they've changed this from the supplement. Alright, so Mephiston got Speed of the Primarch back. So Mephiston is kind of pointless having... I don't know, I would never pick Mephiston as my Warlord. Heroic Bearing for Dante is a bit better. So it adds 3 inches to his Rights of Battle and his Chapter Master. So you can basically buff anyone within 9, and everybody within 9 that is core is re-rolling 1s. And then you get +1 to your leadership within 9 as well. I mean, that's not as strong as the auto pass he had before, but I guess the extra inches on the aura for rerolls is kind of nice as well. So this now needs to actually become Heroic Bearing. So you can't do that anymore. And do you know what? As Heroic Bearing, I'd say it's worth it over... it's definitely better than Speed of the Primarch. Alright, troop-wise, 2 Infiltrator squads, and 1 tactical squad, and it just looks like a basic tactical squad, no special weapons in here, and then 2 infiltrator squads. So if you follow my videos, then you guys know that I love infiltrators. I think the 12-inch deep strike deny they have is so strong, and I've been running like crazy weaponry in the last few lists I have, and I've been using the infiltrators just to screen really effectively. They always screen. Their weapons auto wound on 6s as well, which is really nice for like bolt rifles, bolt carbines, in that like if the enemy has tanks or armor, you can still do wounds to them. Fair enough, there's no AP on there, but like people do fail saves, right? And I guess saves have been kind of nerfed a little bit. Like the number of 3-up saves and 4 3-up invulnerable saves and stuff has been nerfed. So I know a lot of people like incursors, but I just run infiltrators. I think they're great. And if we have to get them into close combat as well, they do not bad either. You know, it's 2 attacks on the regular guy, on the sergeant, and it's 2 attacks on the regular and then 3 on the sergeant. So it's like a base 11 attacks plus 1 from charging, which makes it 16. And if we are in Savage Echoes, then it's 21 attacks. So they still do fine in close combat. I mean, against any other like Marines and stuff, they'll still kill units in close combat. So I love them. I think they are a solid core to any armor list. Getting a 6-inch heroic invention just means he gets slapped as well. Who gets a 6-inch heroic intervention? Sorry. Strike first is a great rule, but not all. Strike first is a great rule, but not all the time, alas. Yeah, I mean, strike first only. You never strike first when you get charged. That's my big issue with the strike first rule, right? Like, you would think that if you're going to pay your warlord trait, you want to not get killed before you even get to strike, and it doesn't give you that. Thanks for your thoughts on the Leviathan. Made one this weekend. Magnetize it so I can play around with it. The BA one is such a pretty model. Yes. Has anyone noticed in their battle scribe all the BA HQs are missing? Well, if your battle scribe is missing the HQs, you need to go up to here at the very top of the list and choose chapter selection. And you need to select the Blood Angels. I've done that before. It's annoying. It's like you make the list and you choose Blood Angels here, but for some reason this chapter selection isn't selected as Blood Angels. If you add that, the HQs will appear again. Someone's already answered that. Yeah, that's the reason to take them, the 12-inch screen. Yeah, position wisely, you can just screen like half the board completely to shut down enemy deep strikes. It's so strong. And a tactical squad, I mean, you need another squad. For 5 points more, I tend to run like 1 5-man assault intercessor squad, but tactical squad here is fine. I hope they bring back Sanguinius, like how the Dark Angels are getting their Primarch back. Yeah, I mean, I think we all kind of hope that... I haven't finished Darkness in the Blood yet, and I'm sure some people haven't read it yet. I'm on like chapter 12 now. So, but I guess if you haven't read it, like maybe in the future something will happen with Dante, and we'll get something a bit stronger. Is it worth having the Death Company captain with no other squads? Just curious. I guess it depends on if you think 20 points is worth giving him the death visions and the 6+ feel no pain. Probably, because some of those death visions are pretty borderline OP. So, I guess maybe having one Death Company captain might be okay. Alright, so for elites, we've got a Blade Guard veteran squad, just the 3-man squad, that's fine. We've got a Judicar, who's a champion of humanity and has the Vox Spiritum. Interesting. So does that give the Judicar a 12-inch... sorry, not a 12-inch. A 6-inch range to Zora? I had not even considered that. Is the Judicar's Temper Mortis? Is it actually an aura? I haven't run the Judicar since they nerfed it to 3 inches, so I haven't looked at his datasheet for a while, I guess. If that is a way to get that back to 6 inches, then that's super powerful. I don't know if it is an aura. It doesn't say aura, so I would assume that it is not. At the start of the fight phase, you can select an enemy unit within 3 inches of this model. The unit is not eligible to fight until after your army has done so. So, I don't think those combo up, Smithy. Someone in the chat can confirm with that, but yeah, I think you're going to have an issue with that. Yeah, I mean, if buffs auras, he doesn't have an aura. Okay, Redemptor Dreadnought, Heavy Gatling Cannon, and an Onslaught Cannon. Okay, and another one, Heavy Gatling Cannon, and Rocket Paws, and the Onslaught Cannon. Yeah, I mean, we talked about these guys this week. They were kind of like standouts in that they are very survivable, and they're very survivable, and they do decent damage. But we didn't even factor in their Power Fist, right? So these guys, I like Redemptor Dreadnoughts. I typically have been running one. I like the Macro Plasma Cannon, but I mean in this list maybe we just need clear. So Onslaught Cannons obviously are very good at clearing. Sanguinary Guard, 330 points. So this is a 10-man squad, I think. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, yep. And 3 Infernal Pistols, 3 Power Fists, and all axes. Yeah, I love that. I need to buy... I really want to buy for Christmas another Sanguinary Guard squad and just make up the axes. I just think they're super strong right now. And they're so cheap, like 30 points a model. And obviously, if you watch my videos every week, we talk about how good Infernal Pistols are. Especially that you can shoot them in combat and they can do 8 damage. Maybe it was an aura in the text, but maybe they changed it. I mean, in the new Space Marine Codex, it doesn't say aura. Eyeballing, Infiltrators, and Scursors. Still haven't bought a troop choice. You need to get Infiltrators. It's an absolute no-brainer. Look, I actually laid one out just to show you. So this is going to be sacrilege, and Dark Artisan will probably shoot me for it. But I've decided that my Infiltrators are special ops. This guy's obviously he's nowhere near finished. I only have base colours on him, and I'm not even done the base colours. But these guys, I think, are special ops, so they're getting black helmets. I was, like special ops in the government and stuff, black and stuff. So these are my Infiltrators. I'm batch painting 10 at the moment. I'll show you when they're finished. But yeah, Red Blade. If you haven't run them, honestly, like you just have to run them. They're too powerful not to bring. I used to bring in Intercessors, and I have all those painted, and I have Assault Intercessors that I painted, but the Infiltrators, they're just... my Reavers have black helmets, man, not yellow. Alright, well, I guess I like that. I think you get to be a little bit creative with some of the helmet colours, right? I prefer the look of the Infiltrators over the Incursors too. Yeah, I mean, I think they're both strong, and I think as long as you tell your opponent what you're... I believe the only difference is a bit on their backpack, right? So as long as you tell your opponent before, like, hey, these are Infiltrators or Incursors, just proxy them. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to have a real issue with that unless they're... Maybe if it's a tournament, but for the most part, like, I think it'll be fine. Yeah, Tycho is long gone. I did post on the official Games Workshop website asking them if there's still a model and rules for Tycho, why isn't there a model and rules for Sanguinius? And then we have an Eradicator squad bringing up the heavy sport, heavy melter rifles, Predator Annihilator. We've had so many Predators these last few weeks, it's crazy. And then a Storm Talon gunship. Alright, I need to look at the profile for Storm Talon gunship. We couldn't use these up until recently, right? Or maybe it's just one of the few models that I've never owned. Storm Talon. I can't even find it. Storm Talon gunship. Alright, cool. So it's got a Skyhammer missile launcher and twin assault cannons, and I guess you changed out the twin Skyhammer missile launcher can be replaced with one of the following: 2 las cannons. Alright, so it's got 2 las cannons and 2 assault cannons. Interesting. 10 wounds, 3+ save. I guess it's got the hard to hit rule. And this is super mobile, 20 to 50 inch move. Okay. And you play against Custodes. Interesting. Storm Ravens have been with us since 7th edition. Okay, so I guess I just never got round to getting one of those. I don't tend to use too many flyers, I guess. Alright, so let me see this. So you've a nice big Sanguinary Guard that can be with Dante. They can be on or off the board at the start, I guess, depending on what you need. You've got your Redemptors for wave clear. You've got the Blade Guards, but you might struggle to get them where you need to get them. I guess they're just foot slogging it across the board, probably with the Judicar. Eradicators, the Predator Annihilator. That's the one with the autocannon, right? Or is it the one with the twin las cannon on top of it? It's been a while since I ran a Predator. Predator Annihilator is... Alright, so it's the one with the twin link las cannon and then the 2 las cannons. Alright, so I guess you've got like 6 las cannons, 2 assault cannons, 2 heavy onslaught cannons, 2 regular onslaught cannons, and then your heavy melter rifles. Okay, and you've got the infiltrators to hold backfield and screen, and you've got sort of one jump captain that I guess can also join Dante and the Sanguinary Guard if you want to. And I guess the Sanguinary Guard will have their +1 from being next to Dante, they'll have improved morale, and then everything within 9 of Dante will reroll everything. Reroll ones, but one squad, probably assuming that'll be the Sanguinary Guard, will reroll everything. 10 Sanguinary Guard is absolutely nuts in close combat. I ran 9 this week with a chaplain with some rerolls, and I think they destroyed like a squad of 20 Death Guard in like one turn, and I think I wasted a bunch of attacks as well. There's just like loads of attacks left over. Like, they're so nasty right now. Morning, Robin. Thanks for joining us today. What about a Relic Contemptor with 2 twin las cannons instead of a Predator? Yes, it's a CP, but as a 5+ invulnerable, is core and could stay at the back and buff its own shooting if any troops are around. Yeah, I mean, the Relic Contemptor, they did make it core, right? Yeah, so it is core and it's got a 5+ save. So I guess it would benefit from the command, from the Wisdom of the Ancient Aura, and it could buff other things. How much is Battlescribe up to date? Oh well, do you know what? I've got it in that folder. The costs of a Relic Contemptor is 140, and then your 2 twin las cannons make it 190. So I guess it's 20 points more expensive. It's 20 points more expensive, but it would get rerolls, and it does get an invulnerable save. I mean, one of the reasons I don't run the Predator is like it's just so easy for the enemy to delete off the board. Yeah, you're 2 wounds better off, but you have no invulnerable save and no duty eternal. So I think overall probably you're worse off, because because you're not typically shooting one damage weapons to kill vehicles, right? So typically all the damage that comes in will be multiples. So if it's 2 damage weapons, like Power Fist or something, be able to half that. Why is super strong. Why did the Furioso and DC Dread lose core? I don't know. I guess because they... Are we, like, maybe we're, like... Some people were saying there's a rumour about us getting a faction-specific Redemptor Dreadnought. I mean, I'd be on board with that, but... yeah, I mean, like, other chapters have stuff, so maybe there is a Redemptor coming down the line for us, but why did they lose core? I don't know. I can't afford a Contemptor, and the Contemptor is higher as a model. Yeah, I mean, technically it's maybe a couple of inches taller. Well, I guess what you need to do is start saving for a Contemptor. Alright, well, yeah, I guess... It is a very good point, though, right? Like, if you had the Contemptor, you're paying 1 CP to potentially buff the heavy melter rifles of these guys as well, and I mean, if I guess if your dreadnoughts are together, you can pay the 1 CP on one of them and buff all of them and buff this guy as well. So sometimes, or you can start Dante next to them in the fight, and select one of them for rerolls and then jump off. Hey Kali, thanks for tuning in. Hence I don't bring any plasma cannons on the Redemptors. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Alright, so I guess we're going to score your list up and we'll score the list up, and then I guess you can decide on what you want to change. So, objective holding and OBSEC. I mean, we only have one troop choice beyond the 2 infiltrators, but the infiltrators are so good. And another thing that's great about the infiltrators is they can smoke screen. So, deploy them in cover, and then if you have to keep them alive, smoke screen them. This is pretty much what I run. It's definitely a 4. It's maybe a 4.5. The way you could get it up to... I think I said on the last stream, if you want to get 5 in OBSEC, you probably need to be running a Warlord or Hero of the Chapter with the Rights of War trait to give like your Sanguinary Guard OBSEC, so when you jump in to smash an enemy unit and you take the objective from them, you OBSEC it. But, I mean, your infiltrators will do fine, and I guess like if you're defensively holding with the tactical squad, that's fine. In my list, I run the 2 infiltrators and an assault squad of intercessors to get forward and take an objective. So, I kind of want to say it's 4.5. I think we're going to go 4.5 because it's so similar, and I guess like I think what I take is pretty strong. You just need to really, when you're deploying, really make super... use that 12-inch bubble around the infiltrators to the absolute maximum it can be. Like, completely zone out your backfield so you can expect, like, no deep strikes in there. Deploy the infiltrators in cover so that even if they shoot them, they're getting 2+ saves. And if they are shooting them, you can pay the 1 CP to smoke screen them as well and make them -1 to hit. It's really very, very effective, those infiltrators. Maybe a Tech Marine Master of the Forge would be better over the Judicar. How important is the Judicar to the combat plan? Yeah, that is very true. If you did swap out the Predator Annihilator and then you took the Tech Marine, and that you could essentially have all 4 las cannons now hitting on 2s, and then you could put 3 wounds back in a turn. I'm not sure the Judicar is going to... I mean, the Judicar was kind of... I guess he got confused that you can't increase the range of Temper Mortis, so maybe the Judicar isn't super strong in this list. I'm also thinking of painting my Primaris Repulsor, Executioner, and Death Company colours, and also my Razorback. James, go for it, man. I've painted my Impulsor in Death Company colours, and now the fact that we can put 2 lieutenants into the Death Company, I think is super exciting, actually. Like, I think what would be cool, I think it would be cool. I don't know if I'm going to run it, because I don't have all the models, but what about 2 Impulsors, each with a Lieutenant and the Death Company Intercessors that I talked about earlier? I think that would be pretty cool. The Judicar is mostly to counter the Custodian's Captain on Dawn of Eagle Bite that is -1 to hit. Yeah. Oh. The question is, though, will the Judicar be exactly where he needs to be, and would 4 las cannons hitting on 2s? And you do have a shed load of dreadnoughts, right? So you've got 3 dreadnoughts. Keeping those alive with all that clear throughout the game might be super important. I mean, I know a lot of people right now are running the Apothecary. I'm actually running a Tech Marine, and he is the Master of the Forge. So I guess you run what you need to run. Where the hell am I? Okay, so anti-horde. Your anti-horde is amazing, actually. Like I don't go over many lists of like 2 assault cannons, 2 heavy onslaught cannons, 2 regular onslaught cannons. That just doesn't happen for Blood Angels. I mean, so I think your horde clearing is generally quite good. It's like I'm just looking at shooting there, but like you can get into close combat with quite a few of these things. Like the Redemptor Dreadnoughts, if they have to, can go clear hordes. And I guess the Storm Talon with its mobility will definitely be where you need to be. And then Sanguinary Guard, I think you've got 7 bolters in there, so you've got like 14 -1 assault bolters you can shoot as well. A little sad that they lost Explosive Judgment, but I guess if you do come in from Deep Strike and you use that new Descent of the Angels, you get +1 to hit. I guess if you're next to Dante anyway, it's irrelevant because you would be hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s. But if you're not next to your Warlord, then you could pay the 1 CP to make those 14 bolters hit on 2s. That would be good as well. So clearing is not a problem for this list. Anti-vehicle. I'm going to go, I think, with 4. You have a bunch of las cannons, but yeah, they only hit on 3s. You have a bunch of Meltas, again, they only hit on 3s. I guess it depends. I really like that idea of taking the Contemptor with the Eradicator so we can buff the rerolls. Is the Full Baal Predator any good? Right now I'd say no. Baal Predators I think are just generally underperforming again. I don't think they're going to be super competitive. I'd be very surprised if you saw one in a highly competitive game. I did an Impulsor in Invictus, and an Invictus in Death Company colours. Got a Land Raider and a Rhino and a Storm Raider in Death Company colours too. And 3 drop pods from back at 7th. Yeah, Dart, you need to stop teasing us with all your painted models and actually make a video for your channel. You do that and I'll share it for you. I'm ready to see your army. It's been teased for a long time now. Okay, and then what else we got in here? Mobility. You only got the 1 squad of drop troopers, the Sanguinary Guard. I mean, I guess you've got the Storm Talon, but flyers can't contest objectives. I think 3.5 is going to be... I don't think it's that mobile a list. I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. Like, I think I've run lists that aren't necessarily super mobile, but that's what I think that is. And then specialization. Like, is this list too specialised against anything specific? I'd probably say no, but I guess the other flip side of specialisation is, like, is there anything that this list does super well? Well, probably not either. Like, you're probably going to do a decent bit of shooting. You got a decent bit of close combat, but I don't think your close combat is going to be as strong as maybe some of the other Blood Angels lists that I've seen or ran. So, you know, like a strong list might be like Vanguard Veterans, Sanguinary Guard, and Death Company, whereas this is just really Sanguinary Guard. It is a big squad, so I think we'll say like 3.5. So 20 out of 25. I mean, that is a very respectable score. The Tech Marine idea was really interesting to me. Another interesting idea might be like a Librarian Dreadnought. I think Librarian Dreadnought has just got better in that we can now give him wings again, and we've got the new access to the Blood Angel psychic powers once again. So he's 155 points, the Librarian Dreadnought. Hard to say. I mean, 10 Sanguinary Guard is probably going to be overkill, right? Like, they get 3 attacks, so it's 4 in the charge, and it's 5 if you've got Savage Echoes. And if you've got full rerolls, you're talking you're going to hit with just about everything. So what are you talking, like 30 plus hits with axes, 15 hits with power fists? Is the enemy going to be able to save against all that? Probably. Like, I think 10. So you could probably lose like one Sanguinary Guard, maybe like an axe guy that saves you up 30 points. You could probably lose like the Judicar, that's you saved like 115 points. So then you just need to lose something else to take a Librarian Dreadnought, like 40 points. And or swap out this Predator, and maybe you could just take, like, if you can't take Librarian Dreadnought, maybe there's another cheap HQ option. Like I talked about, like that lieutenant from Indomitus, he pairs really nicely with like he'd pair really nicely with your Blade Guard veterans, making them reroll ones. I guess, yeah, I mean, I guess I can see why you brought the Judicar to try and make an enemy fight last, but, like, is he going to be able to be exactly where you need him to be on the battlefield without some sort of transport? I think is questionable. Alright, let me catch up in the chat. Balls will never be seen again. Yeah, it is sad, Highland. With the loss of explosive judgment, I wonder if fielding plasma pistols over the Generalist bolt gun is worth it. Do you know what? I saw someone talking about fielding plasma pistols with the Sanguinary Guard. I mean, I guess if you have a way to reroll ones, it might be okay. Like if the Sanguinary Guard drop down next to Dante and they hit everything on 2s and they reroll 1s, and there's like 8 plasma pistols. I mean, yeah, it might be okay. I don't know if the 8 plasma pistol shots would be better than like the equivalent number of bolt shots or bolter shots for 5 extra points. Someone would have to try it and let me know if it was good. Maybe we can math hammer it in the future. I can't yet. The heavy intercessors aren't out, and I'm not unpacking all those points until I have the table to get them on the shelves. Fair enough. I used to run plasma pistols before zero cost explosive judgment bolt guns. And how was that plasma pistols for you, Phoenix? Gladiator Reaper seems like a good wounds output. So I mean, the Reaper can do good wounds output, yeah. But I mean, I think the Reaper has its own problems, and I think again it's kind of invulnerable save based as the problems. With wings and quickening, the Librarian is always going to be strong. Yeah, he is really strong. And 8 Sanguinary Guard seems okay. Yeah, I think I had overkill when I had 9 Sanguinary Guards, so 8's probably. What's the best heavy support for Blood Angels? I mean, it's really hard to say out and out what is the best. The list that I was going to run next included, I think it was 1 Redemptor and 1 Leviathan. I think in terms of survivability right now, the Leviathan pretty much is always the most survivable, even with the changes. With the point cost as well, point for point, he deals out a lot of damage, and the only downside to him is his lack of core, so you just have to deal with that. But in terms of like all-round best heavy support, I guess Eradicators are picked very commonly. They are very strong as well. But I guess, like, yeah, I'm not sure I can just say what is best, because technically, like, right now I'm running Forge World units as my heavy support, but, I mean, I guess I am going to switch it out, but I am still going to, next battle I'm probably going to run, like, a Leviathan and a Redemptor for a heavy support. I know they aren't technically heavy support, but, I mean, they've got the weapons on them to do what heavy support does. For me, Dante out, Chaplain or Librarian Dreadnought in, and if you get the chance, Contemptor for the Predator. It's all about combos. Okay, so I think right now people agree that like 20 points is good. Suggestions are like, I think Dante out is a good one. Get a Chaplain on a bike in, and maybe get that Relic Contemptor in with the double Las, and Predator out, I think. It's kind of sad, but I mean, I've run Predators in 8th edition, and like every time I got out of a battle with them, I was just like, yeah, that was useless. Doesn't it just come down to what you want to achieve with your guard? Yeah, I mean, I guess it comes down with what you want to achieve. Yeah, the Leviathan is elite now, so I guess you have to deal with that. And you have to pay 1 CP, obviously, to take it. If anyone's got a community score for Smithy's list, please pop it in, and we'll look at that. Down to you. But yeah, the other option was the Tech Renin for the Judicar or something else. I think the Judicar, like, you're I get that you're trying to like counter something, but sometimes the strongest lists are lists that are like not made to try and, because for me anyway, right, when I'm making a list, like I want my list to be strong against everybody. I don't want to be changing the list every week. I mean, if you're going to a tournament, for example, you don't know who you're going to play against, so you need to have a list that is going to be good against everything. So, like maybe like when you're building a list, like maybe think about like, don't try and take a specific ability like, oh, if my Judicar can be in this one place at the one turn in the battlefield, then he can do something amazing. It's more like you need to be picking things that are like going to do well at all the times. But that's just my opinion. I'm too afraid to post a list here. I don't feel I'm a good enough experienced player to choose the best options. Chris, don't feel like that, man. You should submit a list once you've got the new boot, by all means. Like I don't want anyone to feel like their list isn't good enough. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the channel, is to let Blood Angels players be better. If anything, man, I've learned stuff from doing this myself, because like I've actually like gone and thought of strategies, and like you guys have given me feedback. So like if you want to post a list, then post it. If you want to give me a different name, so when we review it, I don't review it in your name because you're embarrassed about it, I mean, you could do that for all means. I wouldn't have a problem with that either. But yeah, I mean, oh, I'm getting some lag. Sorry. I don't think anyone should be embarrassed about posting a list. Like, if anything, we'll just give you some tips to make it better, and then I guess you can go away. You can win some battles with it, and then you can tell us how to make it better. Do you know what? Either Battle Scribe is lagging, or the captain of the bike doesn't have the option to take Chainsword. Alright. Screw Battle Scribe then. We'll just look at this next list like this, right? Okay. Yeah, I think Battle Scribe is lagging, my computer. Let me close it. Right, so this is a 2K list from Chris Chance, and I know Chris, well, I don't really know him, but I see him post a lot in the Blood Angels groups on Facebook, so Chris is probably I'd say like the amount of games he wins, I mean, he must be a very solid player, and he's always got solid lists. So let's have a look at this next. Alright, so we start with the captain on the bike with the Storm Shield and the Teeth of Terra, so he's a very survivable captain, able to chew through infantry very easily. We then have the Primaris Chaplain on the bike. This is the guy that I'm running. Mantra of Strength, the Canticle of Hate, the Benediction of Fury, the Master of Sanctity, and the Litany of Hate, the Warlord, and the Wise Orator. So this guy, like this, is just crazy, right? So like he gets +1 attacks, +1 strength, +1 damage, +2 to his charges, +3 to Pylon and Consolidation. Benediction of Fury is a 3 damage Crozius with 6 doing mortal wounds. He can cast 2 litanies per turn. He has the Warlord trait, so he does his litanies in 2+. And then he also has the Litany of Hate, which is reroll everything in the aura. Now we can actually take Now we can actually take a second Warlord trait on this guy, which is what I'm going to do next. Yeah, I mean, this guy is strong AF right now. Then we have the Sanguinary Priest, so this is the healer, with the Artificer armor, so it's basically his Terminator armor. He's got a Chainsword Bolt Pistol, he's the Chief Apothecary, he's got a Jump Pack, he can do the 2 heals per turn with Selfless Healer, and he can bring bring one unit back to life every turn for free, and then he is a hero of the chapter. So these are 3 really solid HQ choices. There's nothing you can really fault. You can fault from that. I'm sure your list didn't suck, but thank you, Callie, and thank you for the submission. We help each other exploit rules like politician exploit tax codes. Yeah, that sounds about right, Ryan. That's why we're here, so that we can all win every game as we play each other. What will be great is at some point, if some of the guys in here, we have Blood Angels against Blood Angels, and we'll actually see what happens. Maybe that's a dream for a post-COVID world. All right, and then this list, which I guess I'm a little bit surprised about, in that we have 2 Assault Intercessor squads and 1 Incursor squad. So, to me, Incursor says that you want to deploy in a forward position to get in and contest enemy objectives and basically get right into the enemy face. But then having 2 Assault Intercessor squads kind of leaves me thinking, is one of these Assault Intercessor squads just going to have to chill in the backfield and not be able to do too much? Hey, Chris Turish, thank you for subscribing. So that's fine. Then we have Blade Guard Veterans. So this is a big squad. This must be 5 guys, 175 points. The company champion, sorry. I haven't run the champion yet, but he's got the Martial Exemplar. I'm going to have to double check what Martial Exemplar is for the company champion. A few people have said, hey, company champion looks really interesting, and I think he does. I just haven't got around to running him. I guess I'm only really playing 1 game a week at the moment, and I guess there's so many new options. I'm really excited about the new Death Company options, but I think that's just because I've got a bunch of guys painted Death Company. So, company champion. A champion gains the following abilities: Skillful Parry. Each time a melee attack is made against this model, subtract 1 from the hit. Each time this model makes a melee attack against an enemy character, you can reroll the wound. This model has attack characteristics of 5 and a leadership characteristic of 9. Alright, I didn't realise he started with 5 attacks for a 70-point model. Interesting. And then he's got the Martial Exemplar trait, which is while friendly core units are within 6, you can reroll charges. Alright, interesting. Yeah, that's a pretty cool character for 70 points. What's the actual profile of a company champion then? I guess he comes in as he's not HQ, right? He's elite company champion. So 2+ weapon skill, and I guess you've got 5 attacks, leadership 9. And I guess if he's the basic guy, he's equipped with a mastercrafted power sword, and he's got a combat shield as well. Alright, so he's 2+, 5+ invulnerable save. So he's basically wearing Terminator armor for 70 points. Honor or death. He can do 6-inch heroic interventions. He can fight first if he's in range of an enemy character. Interesting. That's actually no one's running this, or not many people are running this. I certainly am not running this, but I feel like I need to kit bash one of these now. Whoever is on the Facebook grouping is every kit bash we're upping each other's kit bashes. They're just getting better and better. So yeah, let's see a kit bash of some company champions. Cool model, 70 points. Okay. Small Sanguinary Guard with axes. So you guys know that I like axes. And slightly smaller squad than I would like, but I mean, that's fine. And small Vanguard Veteran squad as well. Sergeant with a Storm Shield and Thunderhammer, all the rest with Storm Shields. This list has 3 points spare. Alright, I can make an improvement to this list for you, Chris, if you're watching. Get rid of the Storm Shield there and put a Infernal Pistol on, right? You're never going to take wounds on the Captain or the Sergeant anyway, right? Until all the other guys are dead. So all the other Storm Shields will protect you, and I think it's worth losing his invulnerable save for the potential to do 8 damage, and you had the points for it anyway. Every turn he's in combat, he shoots for 8 damage, and if he's in close range, he gets to shoot for 8 damage. 3 of these crazy new bikes with multi-meltas, and I guess comboed up with the fact that you have a priest that can bring one of them back to life each turn. That's crazy strong. Basically, you'd have to delete all the bikes in one turn, or you'd have to delete the priest, or the priest is bringing a bike back to life. that's going to be difficult. Here's an ancient picture from 2 years ago that has the army has doubled since then. Where did you post the picture? Sorry, Dark Artisan. I'm about 6 games in. It's fun, but one of my friends acts as a bit of a gatekeeper, so half my games are not that fun compared to the other friend. I mean, I guess we all have one friend that's win at all costs or a bit gatekeepery, so I guess you just have to deal with that. How do you feel like Eliminator Sergeant with Quake Bolts? I don't think Eliminators are very strong for Blood Angels. I've tried running them a few times, and they never really seem to do much. I think if you're going to run Eliminators and you need to run 6 of them, I don't think 3 really ever cut it. Like, 3 are just... Yeah, every time I've run 3, it's been anticlimactical. More attacks than a standard captain. Yeah, I mean, this company champion seems very good. Okay, I'm not on Facebook, but I did send you some Kit Bash pictures. I will check for them, Adam. I'm not sure. Back to the notes page. Okay. Outrider squads. So 2 6-man Outrider squads. I think this is okay. I don't run Outriders myself. I only ever ran 3-man squads and they never really performed as well as I'd hoped. Welcome to the stream, Jay. Personally, I think Outriders have a place, right? Because they can flank and they're kind of survivable. And I guess if you're running them almost like as a shield to these guys, then that's fine. But if the Outriders ever charge something that they want to kill in a single turn, then they're very weak. Then it's just 10 attacks per squad after your charge. You obviously get the 6 bonus attacks when you charge, but out with that, I feel like they're kind of average. But I guess if you use them right, and Chris is obviously using them right because he's winning all these battles. I don't know if you guys are seeing the lag that I'm seeing on my mouse. I'm sorry if things are lagging. I don't know why. Something on my computer must just be going a bit crazy. Yeah, something is literally 100%ing my CPU right now. And I don't know what it is. Let me see. It's the webcam. Okay, let me kill that. I'll start it up again. Yeah, I think that's maybe fine now. Okay, I'll see. And then heavy support. What we got here? We got 2 final squads of Eradicators. No, the mouse is still really lagging. Okay, I'm sorry about this. I don't know why things are lagging. Hopefully it's not lagging for you guys. It's certainly lagging for me. Switch your stream camera. Does the stream camera eat memory over time? Is that what's happened? Maybe. Are we still running Blade Guard, boys? I don't know if it's worth taking them over the Sanguinary Guard. I think the Blade Guard are okay. My problem with the Blade Guard is, like, how do you get them into combat, right? Like, you almost need to take an Impulsor. Or a Repulsor, but I guess nobody runs Repulsors, really, right? I can't remember the last time I actually saw a Repulsor. I've seen a lot of Impulsors, but... I mean, Outrider's obviously not underperforming for Chris because he's winning games with them, and there's a competitive Blood Angels podcast that is done by a guy, I don't remember the guy's name, but he runs a competitive Blood Angels podcast, and it's in the Facebook group, you know, the 40k Facebook group that I'm sure you guys are all in as well. And the guy that won a tournament recently as Blood Angels ran Outriders. I want to say he ran 6 as well. But, like, in my meta, Outriders just get blown off the board so quickly and they don't kill anything. So, I think maybe it just depends on the meta that you're in. My meta is very much win at all costs. So, I haven't had success with Outriders, really haven't seen it. I guess the way I look at them is on turn 1, they're as good as an Assault Intercessor squad, right? Assault Intercessors get 16 attacks when they charge. So do the Outriders. On turn 2, essentially, when they've lost their charge bonus attacks, the Outriders actually just have 10, and the Assault Intercessors have 11. So, you know, if you don't kill what you need to kill in the first turn of combat, then they're worse than Assault Intercessors, and Assault Intercessors are 40 points cheaper. But, saying that, I guess if you run these bikes on a flank with a priest, obviously with some extra multi-meltas, then that can be effective. So let's go ahead and score this list, and then we'll look at Rob's next. So objective holding OBSEC, yeah, I mean it confuses me a little bit that, you know, I tried running 2 squads of Assault Intercessors. I painted 2 squads when they first came out because I figured, like, hey, Assault Intercessors would be really good for us. But in 9th edition, quite often you play a map with like 5 objectives or 6 objectives, and a couple of them are in your deployment zones, and you have to hold the objectives. So, I mean, I guess, like, I get the idea of deploying the incursors forward, and then I guess you want to get into enemy objectives with your Assault Intercessors to, like, contest them. But then what are you holding your objectives within this list? That confuses me a little bit about this list, and so probably just going to say like 4. Anti-Horde. You know, I guess you've got like the 2 Assault Intercessor squads will obviously murder through hordes, and I guess if you have to, your captain, your chaplain, they can do that as well. Your outriders and your other bikes have a lot of bolter shots every turn. They can just use to thin out enemy ranks. I guess you could use the Sanguinary Guard bolters to thin out hordes. So I think anti-infantry is like fine. It's not as strong as the last list that we looked at, which was like a 4.5. Maybe the last list, maybe you should have actually been a 5 there. Yeah, you know what? We'll change your last one, because that was probably the most anti-infantry I've seen for a while. So maybe this is like 4.5. And then anti-vehicle. I mean, you've got like 6 Eradicators. And then you've got the 3 bikes, each rocking multi-meltas. So essentially you've got like, what? 6 melta shots there, 6 melta shots here. Your captain can definitely take out some. Your chaplain could do some anti-armor. The Sanguinary Guard with Axis could do it. The Vanguard veterans can do melta bombs with one of these chainsword guys. So I think anti-armor is very strong across the board in this one. The company captain, I'm going to say this wrong every time. The company champion is also kind of interesting. Oh, we're still on the Codex. We don't see your screen. I get what you're talking about. All right, that's probably what's killing my lag. That's probably why I'm lagging. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I guess we have to talk a little bit more about that. So yeah, it was Assault Intercessors and Incursors. So it's a weird one to say that, like, if you're on a map with 5 or 6 objectives, like, how are you holding stuff? Or what are you holding stuff with? I mean, if you're holding it with Assault Intercessors, it's kind of wasted points almost. Anti-infantry, we talked about how there's a lot of bolt shots from these bikes. There's a load of chainswords. I guess you could use the Sanguinary Guard bolters as well. You've got Assault Intercessors that can kill through as well, so that's no problem. Anti-vehicle, I think we just said there was like 9 or 10 melta shots. I guess we added a Infernal Pistol. I guess your captains and stuff can take out vehicles as well. And then I guess you've got your 5-man Blade Guard squad with their master-crafted power swords that could also take out vehicles. So I think, like, anti-armor, I think, is 4.5. I think it's going to get a little... Do you know what? I guess, like, all those bikes, I was going to say his mobility is a bit limited, but I guess the mobility is made up by the fact that you've got, like, 9 bikes, right? So the mobility is actually really decent. Yeah, I mean, my one question with this list really is, like, what are you using to hold objectives? I mean, I guess you could hold the objectives with Incursor Squad, but then would you not be... Infiltrators are my go-to pick for holding objectives, backfield objectives. I've also held backfield objectives before with heavy intercessors. I've proxied some of them to see if they were any good, and they're amazing. Heavy intercessors, they're really survivable. You can also put them in cover, and they've got like 42-inch range, strength 5 -2, 2 damage rifles. But right now, it tends to be infiltrators that I hold objectives with. And I kind of see like 2 squads of them as like the go-to, and like I almost see that as non-negotiable. It's bad, I guess, when you get to a point where a unit is like so strong that you don't want to take anything else. You kind of know that the balance is maybe a little bit off, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I think with infiltrators. Specialization, I don't think this list specializes too hard against anything. I think this extra character in here with his 5 attacks and his sort of the rules that I'd never even heard before are actually really strong as well. So I think the specialization is like a 4.5. So yeah, my one concern is like, what are you using to hold objectives with on this list? I mean, it depends on the map as well, right? But like quite often you have maps where you just have to leave things behind to hold. So 22, I think we give Chris's list. If you guys in chat have if you have a score for Chris's list, please put it there. My suggestion is to drop the Storm Shield on the Vanguard Veteran Sergeant and take an Infernal Pistol. And that's like +1 point, and it keeps him actually like it keeps him within the points that he's got for this list. I'm trying to think if I played this, like how. I feel like if I got to shoot these bikes first and had enough firepower to take them all out, then this list gets very scary. But if you leave even one bike alive with 1 wound, then you know that the priest is instantly putting it back up to half health and bringing another full bike back alive. And if you split your fire over a couple of squads, then it would be very difficult. So I can see why Chris wins a lot of games with this list. I guess maybe just the sheer number of bikes make up for the fact that 3 of them are a bit crap. But yeah, has anyone got any scores for Chris? Are the Land Raiders useful within the Blood Angels unit now? Yeah, I mean, Land Raiders are definitely useful, especially with that stratagem that prevents Overwatch, right? Land Speeders, yeah, that's why I would use a Land Speeder. And Clusters are also great they're great because we can get in and make combat. For Terminators, would 2 Lightning Claws work with 3 Thunder Hammers and Storm Shields? Yeah, I think that would be fine. Ultima Panzer. I mean, if you're going to do that, just make sure you put a Thunder Hammer on the Sergeant so you get that extra attack on the Thunder Hammer, I think would be the way to do it. It's especially solid bringing ATB back every turn with the Sanguinary Priest until it gets errated. Yeah, I think it's going to get errated. Smithy said 18 out of 25. Too many characters. Nothing stays in his own deployment zone. Too much charge and nothing with staying power. If he gets countered by White Scars, for example. Yeah, I mean, I can see that like a list like this in my meta would really struggle, right? Like, I play against some Iron Hands lists that's like crazy shooty. Like, I guess it would depend. Like, a list like this is really themed for Blood Angels and is really good, but if you don't have good battlefield or good cover, you could really struggle with a list like that. I'm just going to close some things. Hopefully, yeah, like what something is killing my computer. I do not know what it is. Why am I still going to 100%? It's not OBS. Yeah, I don't know what is using that system. Great. Alright, the stream's a little bit laggy, I'm sorry. I've not had this happen to me before. I guess we'll just have to deal with a little bit of camera lag. Okay, maybe this. Alright, next up, let's have a look at Rob. I think Rob's in the chat, so this should be cool. Remember your ABCs, always be charging, I like that. Open the Chrome selection to see the individual tabs. I mean, there is a lot of tabs open, but yeah, I mean, I don't know why. Is it still spiking? Maybe it stopped spiking to 100%. Alright, cool. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. I can't find where to put a list for you to go over, John. I will just leave this here for my critique for the group. Alright, well, I mean, I guess we've got the list. And so it's a battalion with 2 extra relics. So a captain with a jump pack, the relic blade, the rites of war, the storm shield, the armor indomitus, and there's the warlord. Alright, so the captain has a 2+ save. He's got the storm shield, so he gets, in the armor indomitus, he's got that extra wound. He's got rites of war, so he's giving everyone around him obsec, and he has a relic blade. Solid choice, I think. I mean, captain on a bike maybe is tiny bit better, but I mean, the captain on the bike can't take the relic blade, so I understand this pick. Thoughts on the Dredeo. The Dredeo is strong right now. I only just recently saw the stats on it. I don't notice any lag. Alright, thanks. I guess it's just lagging on my side. Good day, Funky Vibe. Welcome to the stream. I think the Dredeo is strong right now. I think I will try and do a video in the near future on... I'll try and do a video in the near future on some Forge World picks for us. Because obviously I'm running Forge World in my list every week. And I am actually... hoping to go on a 5-game winning streak next week. Next week I play Sisters of Battle, and it's probably going to be like a shitload of multi-metas to deal with, so I'll have to handle that when it happens. Okay. Alright, so we've got Mantra of Strength, Canticle of Hate, Benediction of Fury, Master of Sanctity, Litany of Hate, Hero of the Chapter, and the Wise Orator. Okay, so this is very much similar to what I'm running as well. I think it might actually be exactly the same. And I guess, yeah, I think it is exactly the same. The only difference is I took Litany of Faith to prevent mortal wounds, whereas we've taken Canticle of Hate to get the charge bonus. That's fine. And then the Priest, very much the same Priest as we saw last time, only this Priest's rocking an icon of the Angel, I guess. So no bonus to the Priest's health, just the ability to reroll charges. So that's cool. Then for troops, we've got the Assault Intercessor Squad, we have an Infiltrator Squad, we've got an Intercessor Squad, and we've got another Intercessor Squad. Yeah, I like this a lot, actually. The Assault Intercessor Squad, push forward, contest an objective, do some obsecking. The Infiltrator Squad, sit on your own objective, protect it, screen. Another Intercessor Squad, I guess, if you need to screen more, and then Infiltrators. I think I said Intercessors twice. I think I was going to say Infiltrators to protect your own, 1 or more Intercessor to help screen or protect, and then 1 to push forward. And all bolt rifles here make a lot of sense with the additional shots they get. So a lot of obsec ability here, and a lot of prevention as well. So this is good, Rob. I like this a lot. Company Veterans. Right, so I read a little bit about this in the group. You're just running 2 small veteran squads that are like 40 points, and it's just 2 veterans. What page in the Codex are the veterans on? I figure they're elites, right? Alright, so company veterans. So it's just a 2-man squad. This unit contains... yeah, okay, so it's a company veteran sergeant and a company veteran, and they're just equipped with bolt guns and frag grenades. So yeah, they're the most basic of the basic. I guess you've thrown a chainsword on them because it's free, but these guys are going to come in possibly from reserve or possibly just to do some sort of actions. Yeah, of course you can, Callie. If you have a resubmitted list, put it in the Facebook group and I'll pick it up from there. So Adam said 19 out of 25 for the Assault Intercessors. I'd have 2 Infiltrator units and drop the Assault Intercessors and use a different third choice. Yeah, that's interesting. The Dredeo is a 5++ v shooting in Overwatch and a 4++ v melee. Yeah, I think the Dredeo is decent right now. I guess I need to do a video on all the Forge World vehicles that we can pick in the very near future and handle that. Is an argument can be made that Infiltrators have a counter synergy with Relentless Assault. At first glance it seems good, but if you want them to charge you, or an easier charge v them. Infiltrators what is Relentless Assault again? Sorry. I can't think. is that Relentless Assault? Is that a Flesh Tearers one? Because I'm not so clued up on all the Flesh Tearer stuff. All right, so Rob, we've got in Sanguinary Guard ×3, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Power Fists and Swords, 8 more Swords and Axes. 8 more Swords and Axes. Yeah, I like this, only I don't think you need to have 4 Infernal Pistols and all the Power Fists in a single squad. I'd mix them through, man. I think it's always good to have some in each squad. You never know where you're going to be on the battlefield, and if you've bolt loaded it all one squad. The thing about putting it all one squad is it makes them a target as well for the enemies, right? Whereas if every squad has a couple of Infernal Pistols and a couple of Power Fists, then the enemies don't need to... It's harder for them to do what they need to do. And then I guess we have a Terminator Assault Squad with Thunderhammer Storm Shields ×4, and the Sergeant with Thunderhammer Storm Shields before as well. Okay, so the thinking behind this. Captain Priest walk around with Sanguinary Guard up the middle of the table with a 12-inch move from the centre. You can hit anywhere, and being OBSEC near Cap, they can slam and claim any objective. Yeah, that's very true. The company vets are my scrambler action monkeys who can clear the backline or similar if need be. The Terminators sit in deep strike to slap whatever needs slapping, or to nab an objective, or sit in holding. Okay. All the intercessors rock up one flank of the board in a little blob, with the chaplain giving the heavy hitter and a min-max acting as a distraction for the Sanguinary Guard, plus being an actual threat from turn 3. Infiltrators either sit in the back line stopping deep strike from the rear, or these orcs would be strung out along the front to stop first turn charge in the middle of Nurglings. Just okay. Secondary Scramble is crazy easy while we stand with the HQs. Oath Engage or one of the killing secretaries if suitable for the final one. Not much can be picked vs me, so I can concentrate on holding more primaries and stopping their movement in secondary. Fighting twice transhumans and assault intercessors and counterattacks are generally only strats I will use for now until we get more strats to use. Okay. It's interesting. I think it's reasonably strong. I think it's going to... It really depends on what you're up against. So I've run lists like this against Iron Hands, and I mention Iron Hands because they're stupidly good at shooting. And in the last edition, I was playing against an Iron Hands player who would take multiple Forge World Dreadnoughts with the Storm Cannons. And Storm Cannons, Iron Hands can pay 1 CP to go back into Devastator Doctrine, so the Storm Cannons were -3s, making the Sanguinary Guard only saving 5, and obviously each fail is a dead unit. And the Iron Hands can also do 6s do double damage, or double wounds, right? So like so if they have 20 shots and they hit everything, because they usually hit a lot of those 20 shots, for every 6 they roll to wound, it counts as an extra save. So Strength 7 against Toughness 4, they, you know, like I could see them. One Dreadnought could easily delete 10-man Sanguinary Guard without much problems, and that was even with like Standard of Sacrifice. So I guess if you're rocking into the middle of the table, you'll need to see what cover is available. I guess who you're fighting will be prominent or important on this. In terms of what you were saying, running all these squads on the side would be interesting. And then running this into the middle, it makes a lot of sense, and it does give you that ability to get out to anywhere you need to be. And then I guess the Terminators in Deep Strike to potentially what was I trying to say? The Terminators in Deep Strike to potentially counter where you need to counter is also good. 1 second, Harry just sent me some photos of his Blood Angels. This is from a few years back, apparently. So, yeah, I mean, this dwarfs my force. Holy crap. I would like to see you play an Apocalypse game with all this. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, that's crazy. Did I miss I think I missed a picture as well. I think he's got this as well. That's a nice painting style you have as well, Harry. I really like it. If you guys haven't checked out Harry's channel, you definitely should. I'm not sure if you can click his name in the chat and go to it, but if not, afterwards, just Google Dark Artisan. And he's also one of the featured channels on my homepage as well. Okay, so interesting list. Like, I guess you have no heavy support though, and I guess I do like the Rites of War pick. The one, yeah, having no heavy support is okay. I guess just like it's almost like your army's on that knife edge, right? Where like if something doesn't go right, like you fail a few charges, you can be hurt badly from this. In 8th edition, I was running armies like this where every single unit was close combat. I mean, I was going even one step further and just like throwing out like cheap tactical squads. This was when tactical squads were just 1 wound per model. I was just throwing out cheap tactical squads, and so that I think tactical squads were 75 points then. I think they're 90 now. So I was throwing out like 3 cheap tactical squads or scout squads as well, I guess just to hold stuff, and then everything was close combat. And while it does win against some forces, it kind of leaves you a little bit one-dimensional, right? Like if you end up against like I believe Slanesh demons have all those nasty things where you fight second. If you end up against like Death Guard and they have Mortarion and you have to kill them in close combat, well, Mortarion has this horrible thing where he spews out mortal wounds every turn to anything in close combat. I think it's like 7 inches and it's like D3 mortal wounds. So like if you have you can survive it with your squads, but your characters, if they're in close combat with Mortarion, they're just going to die. And then you have other things like I was going to say like the Catan from the Necrons right now, where it's like they just throw out shed loads of mortal wounds in really close range. So while I like this list overall, like if you ask me if I was going to play this, I'd be like, I feel like I'm going to struggle against certain armies, and like I get we're a close combat chapter, and I don't think I would pick it. And I guess like if I let me look at the score first, and then we'll come back, right? So in terms of like OBSEC holding, you have 4 troop choices. You've got infiltrators. You also have Rites of War. So like your OBSEC is probably 5, right? You will be able to contest stuff. How are you going to do against infantry and clearing? Well, you have like a load of bolt guns here, and you have auto bolt guns here, and I guess you've got assault intercessors as well. So like clearing infantry, I think is like a 4.5 or something like that. I guess anti-vehicle should maybe be changed to like anti-vehicle / anti-monster. Like maybe that's more appropriate, right? Because like there is against vehicles and monsters. Sure, if you get this stuff in, it's going to do great, but like you potentially take a lot of wounds in the first couple of turns before you get in. I guess it depends on terrain, and it depends on the smartness of your opponent, and it also depends on Alright, hold on, I think I missed one of Harry's pictures. He said there was 5. Oh, this one. Alright, okay, wow. Man, I don't even have 1 drop pod. I really want to get a drop pod soon. I want to try a drop pod in turn 1 with like a Stern Guard in there. And like Captain Tycho or something, just for the lols. I think it could be really strong. So I want to score you down on this, even though like we have all these Sanguinary Guard and they can kill them. Do you know what? Maybe anti-monsters will say 4. Mobility, generally, like, I guess this is all super mobile. The Terminators coming in is mobile. We already talked about the troops moving around and the captains and stuff. Like, I guess mobility is fine as well. But, like, specialization then, like, yeah, the list is too specialized, in my opinion. If you can't get into certain targets, if the opponents have good screens, they're just going to... They might not shoot you off the board, but you will take a lot of losses and stuff like that, and it can be a real problem. So we're going to go with 2 for the specialization, and I think Rob, if you're here, I think we just need to diversify a bit. Like it's hard to... Yeah, that is a great Blood Angels force. It's hard to say exactly what to change, because I would literally need to, I guess, like rip part of the list apart. Relentless Assault is scored 4 VP if you have more units in the deployment zone than they have in yours. Ah, right, yeah, the new secondary for Blood Angels. Hey, thanks for the subscription, Alexis. Welcome to the channel. What did you ask about it? Is there an argument to make that Infiltrators have a counter synergy with Relentless Assault? At first glance, it seems good, but you want them to charge you or an easier charge vs them. I don't know. I mean, the Infiltrators potentially... The way I run Infiltrators is usually I use them to try and screen out my deployment zone so the opponent can't deep strike in them. So yeah, I mean, maybe you're saying there's a counter synergy. I'm saying there's probably a synergy with taking the Infiltrators. Like, if your opponent can't get into your deployment zone, then there's a really easy way for you to score 15 points on the secondary, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a counter synergy. So I think you need to diversify this list a bit. You could probably go a little bit less heavy on the OBSEC. And maybe there's some... You know, we talk about it sometimes on the channel. Yeah, I think we all enjoy this hobby too much. We talk about it a little bit in like the distraction Carnifex, right? Like, you have one model on the board that is just he's there as a complete distraction, and your opponent, you know, yeah, I mean, even with 2 Infiltrator squads, they can still get in, right? But I guess the question is, can you deploy those 2 Infiltrator squads so where the opponent needs to come in, you can react to it? Like, you're never going to screen your whole your deployment zone, I guess. I have a battle report coming up that's probably going to be... do you know what? I can maybe share the photo. I'm trying to think. Like, I shared this photo with somebody recently. And maybe if I share the photo, it'll let you see exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, give me 1 sec. See if I can find this photo. Shouldn't take me too long to find it. Yeah, okay, I got a photo to show you, right? Here's a battle that I played against Death Guard. Like 2 weeks ago. So this is the end of the game, like turn 4 or something, right? But this is a squad of Infiltrators that were on this building, right? And I guess the only so I started on the deployment zone here, the enemy started on the deployment zone here. I mean, I've won this game, obviously, right? But the Infiltrators actually started on this rooftop to screen out basically like the circle there, right? So like nothing can come into my deployment zone over here. This squad of Infiltrators actually started the game here. They didn't really do anything except, again, create a bubble to screen out like all of here. And then over on this side of the board, like, I had no screen, but obviously I had my tank and I had like an assault intercessor squad, and these vanguards were actually down here as well. And I guess actually the sanguinary guard and that all started over here as well in front of the tank. So it was like they couldn't come into my deployment zone over here, they couldn't come in over here, and over here, like, I've basically created like my strike force of death. So if they come anywhere near this, the game is, you know, like, they can't. So I've used these Infiltrators so tactically to basically say, like, you cannot attack me in any way, shape, or form. Everything is on my terms. And I guess at the end of the game, you can see here, like, these guys are in this quadrant, these guys are in this quadrant, this quadrant's good, and then this quadrant's good. So, like, they have, like, 4 Death Guard left. I have 9 Sanguinary Guard. I got 1 Death Company with a Thunderhammer left. I got 3 Vanguards. I got this new Chaplain left. I got these 2 Intercessor squads just about full. I mean, I got my Tet Marine. I guess the game, Mortarion does kill this tank, and then I did say to my friend, I was like, if you do not want to be tabled by me, i.e. lose every single unit you have, the only way you live is if you take Mortarion and fly him back into that corner. And he didn't, and he lost everything, right? But, like, basically I'd screened so well that the only place Mortarion could come down was here, which was useful for him to try. This is my distraction Carnifex that I talk about. And meanwhile, because he's, like, messing around trying to deal with this thing, you can see there's the screenshot. So there's where Mortarion deep striked, right? Meanwhile, the rest of his army are getting massacred everywhere else in the board, and he's got a 500 point model that can only come down in this corner and can only kill one thing. So having some, that's what I think this list needs, something where it like diversifies a little bit. And I'm going to work on that battle report. It was quite a fun battle, actually. I really love tabling my friend Colin. I like tabling everybody. I've actually tabled I think the last 3 games I've tabled people. But I mean, I am running that massive Forge World tank. It works really nicely for me. So I love the models. But I mean, the price is expensive, right? So question then: has anyone got a score for Rob? And if so, what would they change with Rob's list? And then let's get straight into Highland Phoenix. Cool, Highland Phoenix. I thought it'd be rude to not put my initial 9th edition work in progress. Actually, Highland, were you sending me a new list before I jump into this? I think you said you might have changed something, right? Alright, I'll give you a minute and I will look at Doc Kotaka, I think is how we say this. If I said it wrong, then I'm sorry. Right. I mean, it doesn't work the same on every objective, but if you like at the start of the game, for example, those infiltrators in that building in the top right, it was a bit of a strange. I'm almost second guessing myself. Do I put these infiltrators up on a building where there's nothing, there's no objective over there, there's nothing to do over there. I just want to really control where the battleground is, right? I just want to basically say, if we're going to have any battles on this board, it's going to be where I am strong. And it worked a treat in this game. And literally the only thing these infiltrators did all game was shoot at Nurglings, and then I think they advanced off the rooftop at the end of the game, right? So it's they maybe killed one Nurgling the entire game, 120 points, but in terms of totally controlling the battlefield, that's what I'm paying the points for, and that's what they're doing. See the original community post, I've updated the list there. So I got drop pod and think of painting either Death Company, Blood Ravens, or Knights of the Blood, and I'm going to do what Commander Boreal did, Deep Strike. I'm in the same score and the same reasons with you on the other list. Alright, so someone else thought that this list was 20. Cool. Thank you for that. Can you tag me in that post, Highland? Because, I have a million... I have millions of notifications on Facebook, so if you could tag me in that post, that would be really useful so I can find it. Alright, let's have a look at this next list. So, this list was Doc Kotaka. So we have Librarian Dreadnought. Obviously, his powers have just changed, or they're just changing, and I guess you can't use a Biomantic Sarcophagus anymore, but I like the Librarian Dreadnought. 155 points, makes a lot of sense. Primaris Chaplain on a bike. So yeah, I guess after I did the video, after somebody showed me the Smash Chaplain, everyone is doing a Smash Chaplain. I think they can be even better now in that they can have another Warlord trait or another relic. I want to say in my list I've decided to give him a 5+ Feel No Pain, because that makes him so much more tanky. But yeah, a great choice. Not on Facebook, on YouTube. Okay, alright, that should be easier for me to find. Maybe? Or why don't you repost it on the community tab? Could you just post it on yesterday's community thing? Because I'm not sure I'm gonna find it easily, unless hold on. Yeah, your name on YouTube will be Highland Phoenix. So yeah, I can search by that. 1 second. Highland. Let's see if I'll find it. No, I'm not seeing it. Go and post it again on the community tab. I'm sorry. Okay, and then we have the priest again. Selfless hero, hero of the chapter, armor indomitus. Makes sense. Incursors, intercessors. I guess in this list, probably intercessors are going to hold the backfield. The incursors are going to probably be pushed forward. Paired combat blades. I remember reading these the other day. What are paired combat blades? Okay, so they're just a -1, so they can do a little bit of melee. Interesting. Alright, so an Assault Doctrine, they just get -2. Interesting. You know what, Incursors, yeah, they're not bad. I guess it's just like a fine balance on whether you want to... I like to screen out my backfield with the Infiltrators, because I feel like our other close combat stuff does fine forward, but if you want to deploy Incursors far forward and get into combat, I think that's fine as well. Death Company, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 5-man Death Company, all chain swords, and then one with an Infernal Pistol and a Power Fist. I think that's great. You could also have gone for the Thunder Hammer, but both work. The Redemptor Dreadnought with the Macro Plasma, the Onslaught Cannon, and the Redemptor Fist. Yeah, I like that as well. I mean, that's how I run him. I guess you just save 5 points by not putting the rocket pods on. 2 Sanguinary Guard, a pistol. 2 pistols in the first squad, 2 pistols in the second squad, but we're just all swords. So some people seem to really love swords. I don't understand it at all. The swords are +1 strength, -3 AP, 2 damage. The axes are +2 strength, and if you have that +2 strength, then it means you wound enemy toughness of 5s on 2s, which I think is way stronger. And I think -2 from the axes is plenty. You know, like by turn 3 it's -3 anyway. If you think of most units that if you give a -3 to, they're either on like a 5+ or an invulnerable save. So I really don't think you need the swords for the late game -4. And I would always try and get a couple of power fists in here as well, just for inevitably they end up hitting something really strong, and you want to guarantee a bunch of wounds on there. -3 with Red Rampage on wound rolls of 6. Yeah, I mean, I guess with wound rolls of 6 now as well, that's actually sort of even bigger buff to the axes, right? And I guess -3 for the paid combat planes. Yeah. Red Rampage, I think you're always going to want to use in turn 3, right? To get the maximum bonus from it. And then we have 3 Invaders. And I guess it's hard to say who the priest would run with. He could run with Invaders or he could run with the Sanguinary Guard. But regardless, 3 Invaders, 2 Multi-Meltas and an Onslaught Cannon. Do you know what? Most people just run full Multi-Meltas on this. I kind of like the idea of putting one Onslaught Cannon in so that the unit's versatile. And the Onslaught Cannons can do decent against armor, right? Because they are... I feel like an Onslaught Cannon... Did it not get +1 to its strength recently? Or was that... Let me check. Onslaught Cannon. Strength 5 -1, 1 damage. Maybe it was the... Sorry, it's the heavy onslaught. So it's strength 6 -1, 1 damage. Yeah, so I mean, it can do okay against armor. And then 1 squad of Outriders. Question, just having 1 squad of Outriders, in that I don't know really what they're going to do for you, but I guess they run with these. Maybe they're a screen for these bikes here. And then they can be quite mobile. And then Warlord traits. Let me just go back. So we've got Hero of the Chapter for the Selfless Healer, and then we have the Wise Orator. Okay, so nothing to boost OBSEC or anything like that. And I guess you need to pick new psychic powers and remove the Biomantic Sarcophagus, so you have a new relic. That's quite interesting, I think. Hello, Jaegerbomb. I know angels are melee focused, but I love making Phobos angels. Forgive my eyes, I can't see the lists. Where could I find these? For Sarguinius. I'm not sure why you can't see the lists. Someone asked last week, though, if they could see the lists, and what I think I'll do is at the end of the video, I'll post all the lists that we talk about into the comments section. So if you need to go back and check any of the lists, you'll be able to find them there. But yeah, thanks so much for the $5, man. Like every single stream I do, you're here with $5. That's really nice. Maybe I will get my drop pod this Christmas after all. So yeah, it's very kind of you. Thank you. Yeah, so at the end of the stream, I guess I'll post up the lists. Maybe in future, I should probably try and post them all up before. And yeah, Jaegerbomb, like you know, that's like the 5th time you've donated or something. So if you have a list, I'd love to go over it and review it. So yeah, thank you so much. I got my list, some stuff on it I didn't pick because I'm not sure. Do I post on the last post of the community tab on YouTube? Yes, please. That is how you submit a list. You just I'll just do it right now so you can so you're 100% sure. So you just go to YouTube. You just go over to my channel, and then you just go to community and just reply here on this post. I think Highland is actually supposed to be doing this right now for me so I can get his latest list. Yeah, look, here we go. So this is how I managed to find your lists and I guess talk about them, right? Highland, you gave me like a huge part that is a tactical plan. Is that still relevant with this new list, or is it different now? Okay, so how are we going to score Doc Kotica? Is there anything to say to improve this list? I love the 5-man Death Company. One reason that I love the 5-man Death Company was if we looked at that photo that I had a little bit while ago, a 5-man Death Company can just drop down. He can't take relics, sure, the Librarian Dreadnought, but he can take 2 Warlord traits now. So that's interesting. And he is under 10 wounds as well. So if you give him, like, what is it, Iron Resolve to make him 9 wounds and a 6+ Feel No Pain, I think Librarian Dreadnought, and now he can fly, I think he's going to be back. I really think, like, I'm on the fence. My list at the moment is either going to be Librarian Dreadnought or Mephiston. And someone actually made a really interesting point to me this week. If you make your Librarian Dreadnought the Warlord, and you give him, like, let's say Iron Resolve, so he's got 6+ Feel No Pain, and he can now fly, so he could fly with the Sanguinary Guard, and if they're within range of Librarian Dreadnought, they get the +1 to hit as well. So, and then you could use Wisdom of the Ancient on the Librarian Dreadnought so they can reroll their 1s. So you could basically have the Librarian Dreadnought follow the Sanguinary Guard around, and the Librarian Dreadnought would be untargetable, right, because he's less than 10 wounds and the Sanguinary Guard is there, so they would basically look out Sir him. And then his second power you could take on Librarian Dreadnought would be the Shield of Sanguinius, so you could give the Sanguinary Guard an invulnerable save as well. So, I don't know, I mean, sure he can't get any relics, but I still think he's pretty good. He is toughness 7, and, you know, what would it be, 8 wounds base, so you can have him in 9 wounds and a 6+ Feel No Pain. I think it's really hard. So Mephiston's like a couple less, but then Librarian Dreadnought can... In that battle that I showed the picture of a few minutes ago, my Librarian Dreadnought charged Mortarion, and in 1 turn he did 15 wounds to Mortarion. Mortarion is a 500 point character, and he has 18 wounds. Sure, Mortarion turned around and killed the Librarian Dreadnought, but the Librarian Dreadnought's 155 points. You know, like, if he can do 9... Basically, I'm trying to think. He did 83% of the damage to Mortarion in 1 turn. Like, that's huge, you know. Sure, it was a suicide, but like, if I'd rolled maybe a tiny bit better, he could have almost one-shot Mortarion. It's pretty crazy. He is a strong character, and especially if you can take a second Warlord trait now. Like, I think there's a lot you can still do with Librarian Dreadnought. Alright, so, OBSEC, I guess. We've got 4 troops. We've got 2 Incursors to boost forward, 2 Intercessors to hold back. I guess it's a 4. It could be 4.5. I guess, I think we're going to say 4.5 because you can push forward and do that. Anti-Horde, anti-infantry. I don't think... I mean, we've got 1 Onslaught Cannon here. I think everything else is very much close combat. I guess Outriders could clear some hordes. We've got a bunch of bolt guns here that could clear some hordes. I think it's average. I don't think it's anything special against horde units. Against vehicles and monsters, I guess we got some multi-meltas. If we changed out some of these weapons in the Sanguinary Guard, if we got some axes in, then I think you would get better score for anti-vehicle monsters. And we got a Death Company, 1 Power Fist, 1 Infernal Pistol, so we can do a little bit with that. Our Chaplain and our Librarian can definitely do some anti-vehicles, like I just said. Now that the Librarian can fly and he can be untargetable, I guess there's a lot you could do with that as well. So I think maybe I think it's a 4, but I guess if you changed out the Sanguinary Guard weapons, it could be a little bit higher. Mobility, I guess, is 2 jump pack squads, 3 jump pack squads. The Librarian can now fly. This Chaplain has a bike. I guess this guy flies as well. These guys can deep strike. These are all bikers. So yeah, I think this is probably the most mobile list we've looked at today. I mean, the only thing I suppose that's not mobile is like the Redemptor or the Intercessors. So maybe I kind of want to say it's a 5 for this. This is stupid, but Soul Warden for a 5++ to mortals means you can feel no pain his perils. Yeah, I mean, you can feel no pain your perils with Iron Resolve as well, right? But I mean, how often do perils happen, I guess? You could do that with a Sanguinary Priest Warlord. Also, Shield of Sanguinius is both worse for the Psychic Fortress and the Sanguinary Guard that's worth something, yes, -4. Yeah, but like, you say that, Crag, but people are dropping in drop pods of multi-meltas now, which are -4, right? So, drop pod of multi-meltas is 10 multi-melta shots against the Sanguinary Guard. You're gonna lose people if you're only saving on 6s. I mean, you're gonna lose people if you're only saving on 5s as well, but yeah, I mean, it just depends. The current meta, at least my meta, seems very melta heavy. Everybody's got more melta guns. Everybody's got more multi-meltas. It's definitely something to consider. The Iron Hands player I play against has 2 drop pods full of multi-meltas, and he has the Cherubs. So when he drops in, it's 12 multi-meltas. And also, I play against a Sisters of Battle player who has those, is it the Redemptor squads? And they are, again, 4 multi-meltas shooting twice. However, they can take 2 Cherubs, so it's even more melta shots. And they improve their melta range to 36 inches as well. So I basically had like Vanguard veterans getting deleted who have a 4+ invulnerable save by multi-meltas, and they're like from 36 inches away. It's disgusting. So I think you have to consider, I guess, if you're playing Sanguinary Guard right now and you're starting them on board and you're not deep striking, you have to be very wise with your terrain, or or you have to give them the invulnerable save, maybe. Another thing to say is, like, these guys attacking first is so huge. Like, the way I've been playing it is I've kind of been giving up trying to score points in first turn and just set up to get these guys in second turn or something like that. Like, once they get in, they just absolutely wreck face, right? So specialization on this list. I actually don't think it's that specialised at all. I think it's kind of all-rounded. The one thing I don't feel like you get a lot of value out of the Outriders, but maybe they're just a screen for the invaders. Like in my list, I guess I would have some sort of other heavy support choice, like maybe an Eradicator squad or something. I mean, they're the same points, right, or very similar. You could definitely have Eradicators with like heavy melt rifles instead of these Outriders. Or maybe a small Vanguard veteran squad with melta bombs, just purposed to like take out vehicles. I think someone said today Vanguard veterans can have 2 chainswords equipped per model as well. I don't know if I read that right. Is it? They can have their bolt pistol replaced with one of the following. Yeah, I guess Vanguard veterans can run with 2 chainswords as well, so you can keep the cost of the squad right down and get quite a lot of attacks. So I guess you'd have like 4 attacks on the basic profile now, if you arm them with double chainsword. Okay, so specialization. I think it's a generally quite all-round list. I like it a lot, and I think I'm going to say that this is. I thought it was going to be the highest score of the day, almost. Has anyone got a score for Dakota? See what he thinks of, or see what you guys think of his list. All right, Redblade, thanks for posting. I will get to it soon. If the enemy starts, you won't be able to pop any invulnerable, sadly, not even Fortress, and pods come in turn 1. Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing to do is like make sure they're in cover so that you've got that 1-up save, right? But even that, I think multi-meltas will get nerfed in some way or form. You know, like, I need to double check this, but what I was thinking about drop pod, and I think I guess it's a bit like the Forlong Fury strat that we talked about at the start of the stream, how like Forlong Fury right now I think is a little bit broken, and I think Sternguard veterans are going to be a bit broken. I think the lag stopped, so I think I can boot back up my app that that lets you see my other. Let me see. I'm pretty sure this was what was lagging my stream earlier. So let me reboot this app up. It's basically an app that lets you turn your mobile phone into a webcam, and it's what I use to capture. This is what I use to capture pages out of the book, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. You guys can see this, right? So let's have a look at Sternguards, right? Sternguard Veteran Squad. Any number of models can have their special issue bolt gun replaced with one weapon from the combi weapon list. So think about it. So anyone can have a combi weapon. The Sternguard Veteran Sergeant's bolt pistol can be replaced with one weapon from the pistols, one Astartes Chainsword, one Lightning Claw, one Power Fist, one Power Maul, or Power Sword. So you can replace his bolt pistol with basically a pistol or a close combat weapon. The Sternguard Veteran Sergeant Specialist bolt gun can be replaced again with one weapon from the pistols list, one Chainsword, one Lightning Claw, blah blah blah. Up to 2 Sternguard veterans can each have their special issue bolt guns replaced with one of the following: a heavy flamer, or one weapon from the heavy weapons list and one weapon from the special weapons list, right? So, Sternguard veterans in a drop pod. We could have the Sergeant with some sort of combi weapon, let's say a combi Melta, and he can also have a close combat weapon. So I guess we give him, like, I don't know, let's say a Power Fist. So we have a Sergeant with a combi Melta and a Power Fist. This squad can be 10 guys large, right? So let's say we aim for 8 or something. So we're going to take 3 more guys with combi weapons, and they're going to be combi flamers. So we've got 3 combi flamers. We're going to take 2 more guys with combi Meltas. So we've got 2 more combi Meltas. We're going to take 2 guys at the bottom with heavy weapons. They're going to be multi-Meltas. So in the squad at the moment, we've got 2 multi-Meltas. We've got 3 combi Meltas. We've got 3 combi flamers. These guys are all going to come out of a drop pod. Obviously, hopefully within range, so we can shoot all these Meltagons and all these flamers. And then we're also going to drop down, let's say, a default captain with them, so they can reroll all their ones. So basically, you're going to look at, like, 7 combi weapons, so that's going to be like 14 bolter shots. You're going to get 3d6 heavy flamer shots. You're then going to have 4 Melta shots, and then 4 more multi-Melta shots. And you're going to reroll everything. And if the captain you drop down is Captain Tycho, just because, why not? Captain Tycho also has, guess what? Multi-Melta. Sorry, not multi-Melta, a Meltagun, right? So, to me that just seems super broken. And if they do try and charge you, Tycho with his combi Melta. If they do try and charge you, you're going to be able to use your 3d6 regular flamer shots. So arguably you're going to be able to kill some things if they charge in. Bear in mind, you're still going to get to shoot all those Meltas again and rolling on 6, assuming you keep 1 CP for Overwatch. And if they do get in, then, I mean, we are Blood Angels, right? So you still get 3 attacks on all the regular guys. They are veterans. And then you get 4 Power Fists from the Sergeant. I think that sounds so broken. But, I mean, I guess that's just me. It wouldn't matter, though, Dark, because you're not buffing the group, or did someone say... Did someone say something else? Because it would just be the rights of battle that let him reroll 1s, right? Captain Tycho. Yeah, rights of battle. So any core units within 6 reroll 1s, and Vanguard veterans are indeed core. I'm at 22 out of 25, but I would also look at the traits if you can fit them in that gain friendly obsec and deny enemy obsec. That could work with this list. Yeah, that's very true. So someone gave you 22 Dokakota, and I love Sternguard with 2 grav cannons, but keep special issue bolt guns They were great for Rementors when Malachim Fonus allow rerolls. No more though. Yeah, okay. Maybe a chaplain with them and pop the +1 hit. Yeah, I mean, you could pay 2 CP to use the +1 litany as well. So you could drop a chaplain Tycho and that Sternguard squad. I mean, that's just... I think that would be disgusting. I have a little Christmas wish list that is like, I want more Sanguinary Guard, I want more Vanguard Veterans, I want a Stern Guard, and I want a drop pod. But I mean, I've just got so much to paint, it's ridiculous at the moment. Okay, so yeah, we're going to move on to the last list of today, and it's Highland Phoenix's list. You talked a lot at the bottom, Highland, and this was your old list. So is the stuff at the bottom still relevant, or do you just want me to look at it from a fresh perspective? So, and yeah, after the stream, like Jaegerbomb asked, I'll just post all the lists that we went over in the stream today. So if anyone wants to find them, and if I can, maybe I'll try and timestamp them as well. So, or at least I'll say what order we went through them in. Okay, so it's a chaplain with a jump pack. He's the Master of Sanctity. He's got the Canticle of Hate, the Mantra of Strength, Litany of Hate. He's the Wise Orator. He's the Angel Exemplar. Nice, so you've already included the new Blood Angel stuff. Great. So he's got a BA Warlord trait, the Gift of Foresight, and then he's got a Relic, the Icon of the Angel, and he's got an Infernal Pistol. Yeah, this guy sounds like a beast. He's only 5 points cheaper than the... He's only 5 points cheaper than the Primaris Chaplain on a bike, and I guess the Primaris Chaplain on the bike is going to be a little bit stronger than him. In terms of survivability, I guess what he makes up in survivability, I guess he loses in the fact that you have the Infernal Pistol. So I guess it comes down to, do you want to be more survivable, or do you want to be able to get that Infernal Pistol off? That's fine. I feel like everybody takes the same priest at the moment. I guess that's fine as well. When I run this priest, I like to put some extra armor on him, but I mean, that's very much up to you. And then the Librarian Phobos armor. Cool. Okay, so you're taking Mind Raid and Tenebracious Curse and Shrouding. Yeah, because you've made him Chief Librarian, and you've given them the Relic of Galthmore. That's the Force Staff, is it? That'll be in the leaks page, won't it? No. I actually don't know what that relic does. I haven't run it yet. I like Tenebracious Curse though, because that slows enemy units down and removes stuff off their charge. It makes enemy psychers with an 18 subtract 1 to psychic tests. And each time a psychic test is failed for that unit on a 4+, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. Interesting. That is nice. I'd never used it. So, what was the other two you took? Mind Raid. So you can just deal mortal wounds and potentially gain command points. Interesting. And Shrouding. That stops them shooting at Phobos units, right? Yeah. Okay, so an interesting and sort of tactical librarian choice. I like it. Yeah, I run him once, and it was against a Necro Catan, and I took the Mind Raid. I actually took Hallucination to make the Catan hit less to -1 enemies. I think it was -1 to hit for their... So, I do kind of like the Phobos Librarian. He just adds a little bit of difference to what we can do. Alright, so we've got this company captain. I'm going to call this captain... I'm going to call this champion everything but champion, right? Chaplain, captain... Champion, he's a new thing, and he's got Hero of the Chapter, and he is making units OBSEC, and he has the Blade of Triumph. Is that a specific champion one? Yeah, Blade of Triumph. Alright, so it's a 3 damage sword, and it replaces his Mastercrafted Power Sword. Strength +3, -3 AP, damage 3. Okay, so this champion is pretty legit. Like, I think I need to kit bash one of these champions just to have the option. Alright, so 8 Sanguinary Guard, 2 Power Fists, 2 Infernal Pistols, 6 Axes, 6 Bolt Guns. It's a perfect squad, just about. 10-man Death Company, 1 Thunderhammer, 2 Power Axes, 2 Infernal Pistols, 7 Chainswords and Bolt Guns. I guess Bolt pistols now because I don't think they can take bolt guns anymore. Yeah, that's decent. Relic Terminators, Cataphracti, 1 Reaper autocannon, 4 Stormbolters, 5 Chain Fists, and a Grenade Harness. Okay, I assume Relic Terminators can still deep strike, yeah, I'm sure of it. And then Company Veterans, a 4-man squad, 3 Storm Shields, 3 Storm Shields, 4 Storm Bolters, and 1 Power Fist. So a small veteran elite squad. And then for troops, we've got Intercessors, I guess a 5-man squad with 1 Power Fist, auto bolt rifles. Incursors, a 5-man squad with the combat blades and the carbines, and then Infiltrators, a 5-man squad with the bolt rifles. So a good variation of troop choices here, and I guess themed to be able to do just about everything. Fast attack. So we've got 8 bikes and 1 attack bike. The attack bike has a multi-melta. And then we have the Angel's Ascendant. So 1 mastercrafted thunder hammer on one of the bikes, and 2 melta-guns, and then the 9 twin bolt guns. All right, this is interesting. This is something I actually need to go pull the stats up for because I haven't used attack bikes at all. Well, I've used the ones with sidecars, but I haven't used the regular attack bikes. So what's their profile? Toughness 5, I guess that's why you think they're strong, and wounds 4 per... Oh no, that's attack bike, sorry. So it would just be... It'll be 8 regular bikes. So toughness 5, 3 wounds, okay. They don't get many attacks. Can they all take a chainsword? Any number of Space Marine bikes from the pistols replaced with chainswords. So I guess that's... There's almost no point in them taking pistols when the bike has the twin bolt gun. So you replace them all with chainswords and they're toughness 5. Okay, so it'll be like 3 attacks on the charge for the bikers. And then the sergeant's got like the mastercrafted thunderhammer. We've got some melt guns in there, and obviously the 1 extra bike with the multi-melta. Interesting. I haven't seen this for a long time. Yeah, it sucks that the Cataphracti lost their 4++. My 20 wound bullet Carnifex with the priest selfless healer, they're strong. Yeah, I feel like they probably are pretty strong with the selfless healer. And I guess you just have enough melta-guns in that squad to just scare people a little bit into shooting them, and then the toughness 5, they're just that much harder to wound. Do you know what? I ran the Primaris Chaplain for the first time last week, and comparing him to Dante, he has 1 more wound and he has 1 more toughness, but he has a worse save, right? Dante has a 2+, 4+. The Primaris Chaplain has just the 3+, 4+. So the second you hit the Primaris Chaplain with a -1, he's on his invulnerable save, whereas Dante would obviously be on 3s. And the Primaris Chaplain was just so much more survivable. I guess just the toughness 5 makes such a difference when, like, against like low arms fire. You wouldn't believe how much more strong he was. So I can see all these bikes being quite strong. Right, so the Chaplain, Wise Orator, Warlord drops in with a Sanguinary Guard and potentially the Death Company. Alright, I'm not going to say your name, but thank you very much for subscribing. The Chaplain drops in with the Sanguinary Guard, the Death Company, and he uses Commanding Oratory and Canticle of Hate to go after the major threats. Alright, so you get 7-inch charge, and can you re-roll it? Did you put anything to re-roll? Yeah, okay, so you've got your icon and the angel, perfect. So you re-roll their charges and it's 7 inches. I'm even tempted to put the Figure of Death on him instead of the Benediction of Fury. I think the Benediction of Fury is better. I really like those extra mortal wounds he dishes out. The Sanguinary Priest lightly starts on the board behind and among the bikers, accompanying them up the field towards the centre of the battle, providing the bubble of the 6+ Feel No Pain, the Blood Chalice buff, and the Combat Restoration. Okay. The Librarians in Phobos Armor uses concealed positions along with the cursors to screen, capture early objectives, heals the Chief Librarian and Relic abilities to dent the opponent's psychic phase from the middle of the board. Tenebracious Curse can dent movement plans, Mind Raid gives CP regen, and Shrouding to protect himself in most cases if alone. Alright, I mean, that's definitely well thought out. The company chaplain is a smash captain without wings. He advances with the intercessors up the field behind the bikes and the priest. His host of special abilities give a nasty surprise if anyone attacks him in the main battle line. He also provides a reroll charge bubble for all core characters. Yeah, I mean, this company chaplain seems... I keep calling him Champton. This company champion seems really good for the points. The Rights of War trait also is an option. Yeah, so Rights of War was on this little champion. I like it how he's got the invulnerable save as well from the shield. He's really strong. The Sanguinary Guard and Death Company with jump packs do what they do best. The Guard are equipped to go after the heavier targets, the Death Company for the Horde targets, but both can do either. I'm thinking about dropping one Death Company Thunderhammer from some Infernal Pistons, Sanguinary Guard and Death. How many were in the Death Company? Just had one Thunderhammer. Unsure. I like having at least one Thunderhammer in Death Company. Remember that we do still have access for now for the Refusal to Die. Refusal to Die is expensive now, though, man. 2 CP for just a +1 to your Feel No Pain. Explosive Judgment, I guess, is gone. And I guess large units, Hammer of Wrath is available. Yeah, I've never had good success with Hammer of Wrath. I don't ever feel like it's going to do enough. When is Games Workshop going to release the Primaris Heavy Intercessor squads? I don't know. I think before Christmas. They seem to be doing releases every 2 weeks at the moment. So probably if they're not in the next 2 weeks, then I guess they'll be right around Christmas. By the time they drop in, if not starting on board, the company champion may be up the field, offers reroll charge bubble 2. Yeah, okay. The Relic Terminators either teleport in where needed or start on the board for firepower objective holding, depending on the opponent. They will use an ace in the whole flexible unit that can accomplish any task on the drop or in combat, making use of Fury of the first stratagem as desired. I guess that's now Descent of the Angels, I guess, to get the +1 to hit. But it lasts for both phases, so arguably it's a little bit better. The Intercessors are, as suggested, advance up the board to contest objectives, firing their auto bolt rifles and grenade launchers every turn on the way to support the bikes. Rapid fire transhuman if required. The Intercessors use concealed positions to establish bold presence on objectives early and bodyguard the librarian up the field. The Infiltrators can be used to omni scramble the main battle line or to drop even into the backfield objectives depending on the match. If things are going wrong or out of position, Guerrilla Tactics stratagem can all be used to take them off the board and redeploy them behind enemy lines. Guerrilla Tactics. Is that a Space Marine stratagem? If it is, I have never used it. I probably can use it if it's a Phobos one, but I guess maybe I just started reading and I kind of forget that my Infiltrators are Phobos. Guerrilla Tactics. Use a stratagem in the movement phase. When a Phobos unit from your army is more than 6 from the enemy models is selected to move. If the mission you're playing is using the Strategic Reserve rule, place them into Strategic Reserves. Okay. The bikes, like heavy intercessors, only faster with Melta, can combat squad if facing a lot of blast or similarly bike killy weapons. Otherwise, they're used as a mobile gun line in the front of the force of the table, potentially advancing using skilled riders, yet skilled riders so it's -1 to hit them, to be able to protect the priests. Restores and revives. If combat squatted, one unit can capture, while other melt a tank armor. If in trouble, hit and run warfare stratagem can be used. Heavy on chapter command, yes, but I think its effective use of points provides key buffs to core units. Maybe thoughts and comments appreciated. Wow. Okay, that's a lot to take in. But it is, I guess, very well thought out, I think. I think the bike squad is going to throw people off. I like the Catafactory Terminators just because they're cool and they don't get run enough, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, I think your OBSEC is like 4.5. Like, I think you've got a few good troop choices. You've also got the Rights of War. I would use Guerrilla Tactics to place Scramblers on enemy deployment when they're more moved up the field. With the list, it could work. It's an easy 10 points. Yeah, it's very true. I think I'm greedy. I always go for secondaries that give 15 points, but that's maybe just me being greedy. Alright. Anti-Horde effectiveness. I guess the bikes could do a lot of work against Hordes. The Sanguinary Guard obviously could do work against them. The Death Company. I mean, your Terminators could deal with them as well with all the Stormbolter shots. They obviously get Bolter Discipline, so I think it's not going to be a problem. Anti-armor monsters. You've got a few Meltagans here. We'll very, very much be relying on like our Sanguinary Guard and Death Company to do all the work there. I guess like our captain and our champion can maybe help out here. I think. I mean, those multi-meltas will probably survive till the end of the game, but I mean, I just think it's maybe a little like, I guess because it's 8 bikes, right? Like, it's a lot of points with only one weapon. I'd almost maybe lose one bike and get like one more multi-melta in there or something. I think I'm going to go with a 4. Mobility. Well, I mean, the list is very mobile, and you've got the Deep Strike, and you've got Infiltrators, and you've got Incursors, and you've got Phobos. So, I think it's like a 4.5. I think this is the second most mobile list that we've seen. And the bike champion has a damage 4 Thunderhammer. Okay. And then specialization. I don't really think it's too specialized. Like, I don't think there's anything. I think overall it's very solid. Yeah, I'm struggling a bit with your anti-monster. Is it 4 or is it 4.5? I think we're going to go with 4, and I think we'll do specialization at 4.5. I feel like this can probably deal with a lot of different things, and yeah, I mean, like right now the priest is super strong at bringing back those units back to life. But yeah, the hammer is not going to hit that many times, right? What was so the BS? So he's going to be hitting on 4s, and he gets like, yeah, he only gets 3 attacks. 4 if we get to Savage Echoes. So you're really only going to get like 1 or 2 hits. So yeah, I think you're better keeping that squad out of combat and shooting the Meltagans. That's why I think it's probably better to try and get one more Meltagan in there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is. I definitely play the objective lists, and yeah, I think it'll score very well. Like, I think 22 is a very reasonable score. I think if we look back, so we had 2 22s today. Do you know what? They are the highest scores we've ever had. Maybe from a lot of people watching the channel, we are getting more people with more diverse lists and well thought out lists. Maybe that's what's happening. Does anyone in the community have a score for a Highlands list or any suggestions? I don't know if I have a suggestion on this list because I've never seen these bikes in action like this, so it's hard for me to suggest what to change. I guess I run a lot of I guess I personally must run a lot of dreadnoughts without even realizing that I just run a lot of dreadnoughts, and then yeah, sometimes I run like a super heavy tank or something to throw people off. Okay, so Adam gave you 22.5. He likes the idea of the bikes. Not many people will expect this, yeah. It is an interesting thought to take a Librarian Dreadnought instead of the Phobos one. I can see what you're going for with the Phobos, like he's very anti-Psyker, but I mean, Librarian Dreadnought could just jump in and murder a Psyker with his Furioso Fist and his Halberd, so it's sort of 50-50. So I thought of something funny. Since Henry Cavill plays Custodians, I don't know why, but his picture is showing up with an army, and you hear the TTS Custodians theme, aka Pyramid theme. That's very funny, James. Highland, many thanks for the list review. Have a lockdown pint on me. Yes, I will definitely have a drink on you. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. I feel like I need to give you at least one suggestion now, though, because I didn't. So we're gonna think about this list for a minute more. And Garen, 10, I think that must be Canadian dollars. Thank you very much. This is for all the amazing content. Hopefully we can get you a drop pod for Christmas. Working my list for review will submit soon. Yeah, Garen, that'd be great. I'd love to have a look at your list whenever it's ready. And yeah, I will. I am hoping for the Christmas drop pod. That would be very nice. Yeah, I mean, I just love the Blood Angels, and it just it's not like I have my painting table like right behind me, but I guess like the camera never sees it. Maybe at some point I'll show you guys like a bit more of the stuff that I'm working on. So, but yeah, I'd love to see your list, Garen, whenever you can. Send it over. I'll be ready. Every week we're going to be doing this, and there is going to be, I guess I should say it, next Saturday. I guess Saturday the 5th. I'm going to try and do like an extended stream on the new book. So hopefully the book turns up on Saturday. And I mean, I guess you guys have all pre-ordered the book as well. I assume if you've not pre-ordered the book, then next Saturday stream will be great for you. If you have pre-ordered the book, then let's chat on Saturday, and yeah, I've never had anyone on the stream like back and forth chatting, but if anyone would be interested in joining for like a special stream, like maybe an hour or something, and we'll actually chat about things, that would be super cool as well. I don't know if anyone would be interested in that, but maybe in the future we can have some people on to chat in the stream, especially Saturday, because it's going to be a little bit different, right? We're going to talk about the new book and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, so I guess somebody said Librarian Dreadnought as an option here. I kind of like how you've gone anti-Psyker, but then that it is a little bit niche, right? If you run into a list that has no Psykers, Librarian Dreadnought could do a lot of work. I mean, he always does work for me, right? Where is his new data sheet? Yes, so it's 4 attacks, so 5 on the charge, so 5 fists and then the 1 halberd. I mean, I guess that's how... When I hit Mortarion, he must have literally failed like 5 saves against this, and it's a flat 3 damage. I guess you'll see it in the battle report coming up on the channel, but yeah, I mean, Librarian Dreadnought. And what have you got on this guy? You've got a relic, so you could afford to put some sort of relic or hero of the chapter on Librarian Dreadnought. I don't know if I would drop this Thunderhammer. I think it's always good to have a Thunderhammer in the Death Company. I mean, maybe drop the Power Axes. This little squad of veterans. Maybe those are the points you need to play around with something. I'm going to have a quick look at veterans. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're using the veterans for. What did you say? Oh, you didn't mention how you're using the veterans. Interesting. I assume, I guess they have to hold an objective, or like you said, use them for scramblers or something like that. Yeah, this is a list I'd like to play against. I just have never... Are you actually in the Highlands, then, Highland Phoenix? Like, are you in Scotland? Maybe we can get a game when the COVID lockdown ends. I'm a Dread guy myself, but I do like this list. Yeah, I mean, I think I like this list. I'd like to see how those bikes do, especially with a healer. I mean, I think this healer is going to get changed. I'm surprised they didn't FAQ already. CPY is only really to do commanding oratory, cheaper with wise oratory or reviving bikes is free, yeah. I love the Blood Angels, and I also got the Forge World Sanguinius model. Yeah, I want Sanguinius at some point, that'd be awesome. Reading it now while building my Intercessor's Death Company. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some Death Company Intercessors built by people. I mean, I didn't get the new box myself, but hopefully we'll see some pictures on Saturday for sure. Quickening gives D3 additional attacks. Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry you can't make it on Saturday, James. I guess you can catch up another time. I was going to change the company veterans for assault intercessors for Honor the Chapter, but I like the bodyguard storm shields. Yeah, I mean, the bodyguard thing does seem interesting. Can you use a mastercrafted weapon on Librarian Dread? I don't think so. I will check like super quickly, but like pretty sure you can't use relics. Yeah, it says here like they can't be picked on vehicles. So yeah, and named characters and vehicle models cannot. So you can't do the mastercrafted on the Dread. 1 unit of assault intercessors, an outlet for Honor the Chapter seems strong for us. Yeah, I guess that's why I have 1 unit of assault intercessors for exactly that. Quickening plus wisdom strat and lib dread, potentially 8 or 9 attacks with echoes on 3s and reroll 1s. Oh, you're not in south of London. Well, I guess we won't be having a game for a while because I am nowhere near London. Okay, well, I mean, I think that is our final lists for today, guys. Thank you, everybody that tuned in on the stream. It's very much appreciated. And also thank you to the people that subscribed today. If you are new here, then we put out Blood Angels content every week. Try and do something different every week, really, and also try and bring value to your armies. And also help you know what to buy in the future. So just everything to do with Blood Angels, that's what this channel is all about. Thank you very much to the people that did what do you call them, super chats today. That stuff is always super appreciated, and I hope that you all got value out of the lists that we looked at. And yeah, so coming up this week then, Tuesday night battle report, 2,000 point game against Khorne. Probably go live at like 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. Friday, new tactics video. I think I'm going to look at Death Company characters because I'm excited about them, and I also think loads of people will be excited about them. So having a video out the day before they come out will be pretty cool for the channel. So I think I'm probably going to do that. And then next Saturday, stream with the new Codex. Be great if you guys can join for that. And if you can't, then I guess you can catch up. And I guess if you've got any questions about the new Codex over the next week, I've already done 2 streams of that. I think I know just about everything. But there is a link in the Facebook group, or a link to the Facebook group in the video description below. You can click that and that'll join in the Facebook group. And then any questions you have during the week, you can ask them there. And then obviously next Sunday, we've got like 4, 5 new army lists. The lists for next Sunday are... I'm not going to be able to find them now. The lists for next week are Joe Collins, Kari... Is that right? Oh, I've got Rob Bloom down twice. I think I did Rob Bloom today. I'll message Rob, I guess. So Joe Colley, Kari, Slangunius and Will Cherry. And if you guys want to submit a new list because things have changed a little bit this week, obviously with the new book, then please do so. Alright, I hope you guys all have a great weekend. Thanks again so much for tuning in, and I will see you all Tuesday night. And I think the Tuesday night video will be a live premiere, so you can all tune in and watch the battle together, and I'll try and be in the chat, so if there's any questions, you guys can easily ask me. So, alright, by the blood are we made. Oh shit, didn't mean to do that again, sorry. Peace.